agenda meeting. Can we stand for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moment of mindfulness. I know it's not on the agenda, but I always take a moment of silence so everybody can put themselves mentally and physically in the right headspace. So let's have that moment of silence, please, and thank you. Thank you for that moment. We're going to start today's agenda off with presentations. 1.1, Mr. Joe M. Muscatello. I didn't want to mispronounce your name.
Oh, that's all right.
All right.
Do you want to come up here and sit or like?
Yeah, you might want to.
Next to Leah. She doesn't bite, not real hard.
Italian.
You're
But
Italian.
Italian.
Exactly. So you got it.
Okay.
Lord, help.
I'm black. You didn't get it. But ours.
So, Mr. Muscatello is here to talk to us about one of our bonds that is coming up for refunding and explain what that means, and it will be a savings to the district, which will help pad our general fund for 2 years or like a year and a half, and also hopefully give us some money to help finish the last roof that we have, which is Wilkins. Yes, then after that, right, Danny?
Yes, that's it.
Everybody's got a roof.
Everybody's got a roof that's within the last
The Wilkins
10
roof
years
right
old.
now is over 25 years old,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You want to speak about that for a second?
Well, speaking on the other roofs, Turtle Creek was 2014. That will be our oldest one. And then this one and Dixon are about the same age. And then Edgewood just got done. So we've had a lot of issues, but we've had a lot of cooperation through the roofing company to get that all taken care of. Other than, getting that money that we need to put that roof on, there's not really much more to speak on.
The Wilkins roof is going to cost a little over $2 million. We have $1 million in a grant that will pay the first $1 million of it. So this would pad our general fund a bit and also give us the other $1 million that we need to fix the Wilkins roof. It would be done
Next summer.
Yeah, next summer when the kids are here. So, okay, Joe.
All right, thank you. Again, my name's Joe Muscatello. I'm with the firm of Stiefel Nicholas. We've been working with the school district now, I think, going on 3 years. We did the original new money issues for your projects, and now we're back with the refinancing. I always like coming back with the refinancing because we're giving you something back here in terms of savings. Page 2 of the presentation, just give you a snapshot of all the different bond issues that the school district has outstanding. With the original amount, what's left, the coupons and the maturities, and when you can refinance the different issues. Right now, we're concentrating on the 2018 issue. It has about $43,880,000 outstanding. That's what we would look at refinancing. Those rates currently are 4 to 5%. So the current market is less than 5%. So we would refund those at a considerable savings. The other bonds that we will monitor, but they don't save enough money now, are the 2019s and the 2017s. They have coupons of around 4%. The market's not quite there yet, but by the time we get to this issue, we may be able to refinance them. Now, we can't do anything, we can't lock in the rates until May, but it takes about a month or two to get things ready. So we would probably start working on this bond issue in January and monitor it until we're able to actually lock in the rates. Page 3 is a summary of all of the district's debt. So each year the district pays about $8.8 million in debt service. page 4, I know that there's a lot on this page, but if you focus on the,
Excuse me, sir.
I'm sorry,
I'm gonna take me back to page 3,
3, okay.
please. And where do we see, this is my first time looking at this document.
Oh, okay.
So where do we see our total in debt service? Where you said 8.8?
Yes.
I don't.
It's yearly.
Okay.
A year.
Yearly.
Okay,
And this is
okay.
the total down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so this is your yearly average.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay,
Sorry.
so so I'm showing the amortization for each series of bonds.
So if you read them across,
Yeah,
Yep.
those are all the different bond issues, and that's how much you're paying on each one of them, and when they're paid off, the term. But we keep the debt service payments level at that $8.8 million. The DCD wants you to either have level debt service or declining debt service, so that's why you see that it's the same amount every year.
So can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So according to this, if I'm reading this right, the series of 2018 is that 3 million that you're saying we're paying?
Yes, about
And
$3
then-
million a year.
So the second one that we're paying the highest on is the series 2025, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then it goes down to 20, well, I'm
Or
sorry,
the 2020.
2018, 2020, and then 2025.
Yep.
Is there a reason why it jumps from year to year? Is it based upon the interest, or how are we determining what we're paying and we're just not starting
Okay,
with
good
latest?
question. So it all depends on how much we're borrowing and how far out the amortization is, the term.
Okay,
So on the 2018s,
yeah,
there's, the original issue was $45 million. And it was, and it goes out to 2048.
okay.
and that was
So-
to do, what was that to do, Mike? The Dixon, this building? Is that it? Okay.
Okay,
So depending on the principal amount and how long you have to amortize it, that's what determines what the amortization is.
okay, and we're still paying like $1 million on the bond for 2025, we took out 27 million? That's a lot. Okay, thank you.
So then on page 4, so if we focus on the bottom box, the sensitivity analysis, so it's on your right at the bottom. At current rates, you can save about $2.5 million. By refinancing, we don't increase the debt service, so you still pay the same amount every year, and we don't extend the term. So, you know, the original maturity, I think, was 2048, it's gonna mature in 2048. So we don't extend the debt, nor do we increase it. And you'll realize about $2.5 million. Now, if interest rates drop 25 basis points, a quarter of a point, that savings has a potential of going up to 3.5. But if interest rates go higher by a quarter of a point, the savings could go to 1.4 million. And you may not want to refinance it then, you may want to wait, you know, to see if the markets get better. But the funny thing that's been happening so far is you probably have heard a lot about the Fed lowering rates, and they've lowered rates twice. Both times that they've lowered rates by a quarter of a point, the market that we follow, this municipal market, rates have actually gone higher. And it's because, you know, the market feels that they are creating more inflation. So if they think that there's inflation, interest rates go higher. Now, your credit card rate, your car rates, you know, housing, those should all come down when they cut the rates, because those are based on the Fed funds rate. But whenever you're looking at treasuries or you're looking at municipal bonds, those rates actually went higher, which is crazy. But so there's a lot of time between saying yes, move forward, and actually getting the savings. What we will do is, if the board wants to go forward, we'll update Jill monthly with where the rates are until we get closer to the call date. So we'll update you monthly, so she'll know where the savings is. And then when we get closer to February, when we start working on it, late January, early February, we'll start updating weekly so that you know where it is. Now, if we go forward with doing this bond issue to refinance, there's no cost to the school district from my firm's end, unless it actually happens. The only cost there could potentially be is the rating. When we sell bonds, they have to be rated by either Standard & Poor's or by Moody's. They will charge you once we ask for a rating. So that's why I like to see that the savings a little bit higher than what we talk about and what the school district agrees on, because I'd hate for, we go, do all the work, get the rating, and then interest rates go higher, and you don't save any money, you still have a bill of $30,000. Because that's what it pretty much costs to get your bonds rated. So, we want to be careful, and we want to monitor the market. And then on page 5, it shows the savings. So if everything went well, you'd see the almost $1.7 million in savings in fiscal year 26-27, and then the rest of the savings, about $888,000 in 2028, in the 27-28 school year. There's not enough principal to reduce in 26-27 for you to receive all of the savings. But once it's locked in, the debt service payments are going to be less, and you'll be able to realize the savings in your budget. And the reason that we structure it this way, where we reduce the debt service, is that if you take the money as a reduction in debt service, there's no strings attached to it. If you take the money up front, so say that we close and we get a check for $2.5 million, that money's got to be used for a project, and it's got certain stipulations on it, because you're taking the money up front, the bond proceeds. So we like to structure it this way, and it works best for the school, because it can go right into your general fund.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Hi. Here it says that the district would prefer savings to be taken up front. Is that
It should.
what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're taking it in the first, you can say it either way. So, but.
We're not getting
that's-
a lump sum of that.
No, it's gonna be a reduction in your debt service,
Okay.
but up front. But you're correct, that should have said in the first 2 years.
So I have another question.
Sure.
Considering you're probably the expert in this field. I'm the money person, I always ask money questions. But considering that we have 9 bonds right now, I'm looking at the aggregate debt that we owe, and I know you talked about the rating. There's no guarantee we would get a 5% rate, or there is a guarantee? Like, considering we have this much debt right now, our financial position, is it like, are we kind of rocking the boat to where we could get a good rating, get a good interest rate, or we might be, hey, you know what, you have a lot of debt, you have a lot of loans? Like, is this a normal amount of debt to be sitting on to try to do a refinancing at this position right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the larger, in terms of a couple of different things. The school district has a pretty good rating. The financials of the school districts are in pretty good shape. So
Okay.
you've been rated an A minus,
Okay.
for the last few years. And then we also purchase municipal bond insurance.
Okay.
And basically, there's 2 companies that will ensure that the bonds get paid. So if for some reason that something would happen with the district where it could not pay on its debt service, there's 2 companies actually that will insure it. And they're only gonna insure schools that they know that they can pay.
And are we paying additional money for that insurance, or it's
Yes.
rolled into here?
Yes. So it's a one-time fee, and what we do is we look at, if we sold the bonds with the A- rating, how much would you save?
Okay.
Then we look at it, if you bought the insurance and it takes the school district into a AA-, how much can you save? Then we do a present value difference, and if the difference is greater than the fee, then we recommend you buy the insurance. If it doesn't, then we don't recommend buying it. And we actually have to certify to that, whether or not
And then I guess your organization gets a percentage based upon
the size
the
of the
size
issue.
of the,
Yes,
So that-
only if it happens.
only if it goes through.
So that's basically what your notes and assumptions say here?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so,
You might want to touch on how much we borrow, but yet how much capacity we still have to borrow.
What are your general revenues?
115 million.
115 million, so you could borrow about 2.25 times that 115 million, so 230, so almost $300 million.
So you look at that compared to what we've already borrowed, we're still not
Yeah.
close, so.
Yeah.
That's, you know, thank you to Jill for managing all
The
this.
money.
The A- doesn't come around by accident.
No, it doesn't.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're gonna go out and get all this money.
No, just for
We ain't
rooms,
borrowing
just for rooms, just for rooms. So
Right,
our
I'm
cushion,
gonna get
our
200 million.
cushion is that 115 times 2.2,
Yeah, 2.25.
2.25, excuse me, 2.25.
Right.
All right, thank you, just double checking my math here.
It's my understanding that a lot of Pennsylvania schools are in the same boat because they were all built about the same time and they're all falling apart at about the same time.
Yeah, there was, like, whenever I started, like back in the 90s, you never heard of people borrowing like $100 million. Now it's like every school district is borrowing $100 million to do some sort of work.
Baby boom, build schools.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a number of schools that have borrowed a lot.
Borrowing money just to survive, some of the school districts because of the current state
Yeah,
of the budget. How are they, you know, right now it doesn't seem like it's gonna impact us, our district, but it could. And all these other schools that are borrowing money to survive, or they will shut down in January.
Right.
So will that trickle down to the surviving schools like Woodland Hills? Will that have any effect on any type of funding for us?
No, because there's something called Act 85.
Okay.
So the school district, and I think Jill you probably already got contacted by the state about Act 85. So if you don't have the money to make the debt service payment, that the state will make, because this happened back in 2016, I think.
Yes.
Okay, it happened again in 2016, and people were worried that they weren't going to get their debt service payments made. So the state enacted Act 85, where they'll make the debt service payment even if there's no budget.
Okay.
The Department of Education will make. That's why Pennsylvania bonds are so strong.
So this is what happened to us. On August 15th, they sent an email to all the business managers saying, you can now invoke Act 85 because we don't have a budget. So anybody that has a payment on October 1st to the 15th, send the documentation by September 1st. Our payment was due September 1st. They enacted it a month too late. We had to pay ours, $7 million. However, if this continues, and if it continues to our next payment in March, we're sunk anyway. Like, there's not gonna be a kid in school by March. So, but if it does go that far, then I will apply for the Act 85 monies. But it's ridiculous. The entire thing is ridiculous. Hopefully, now that the election's over, they'll get their selves moving.
We'll see.
So
When
I
I
heard
say
they're not-
Friday,
I heard they're not close.
yeah, that's fine.
You know,
Okay,
I'd like to add one thing to all that. What you need to be aware of too is Pennsylvania, the state, doesn't do anything to help school districts with infrastructure. There used to be a program called Planning and Construction, and Joe and I were just talking, it's been going on for at least 10 years. So it's all on us, it's all on the local taxpayer. In other states, like just to the north in New York, they do help districts with their infrastructure. So it's yet another burden for the local taxpayer.
Yeah.
Would you say about 10 years, Joe, the PlanCon?
PlanCon, yeah, it was probably
least
about
10.
2016 or something.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, that was a great program.
Oh,
They
it
give you a
was.
percentage of whatever. Now, some of your bonds are still reimbursable, but any future projects, they're not.
And I guess we're gonna upload the presentation to our board docs for the public.
Sure.
So they don't wonder we're throwing numbers out there from nowhere, we
Yeah.
actually have real numbers.
yeah, definitely.
Right.
And then the last page, page 6, shows that if you are gonna borrow an additional $1.2 million for the roof, how much it's gonna cost. It's about 1.2 million is about $83,000 a year. To increase your debt service.
So for that 1.2 for the roof, did we already do an RFP and pick the company for that already?
No,
Okay.
No.
I was wondering, like, did I miss something on there?
Yeah, no.
You know how to be sure?
no. We had, you did have a company in January, was it Garland, go out and get the initial bids so that we could apply for that grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have not
Like
set in
actual-
stone, yes, we're gonna do the whole roof for anything, yeah.
January.
I don't remember.
Any other questions? So we can. Thank you.
I really appreciate your time. Usually I just gloss over these, never get any questions, but I appreciate the questions.
Not a problem,
Yeah, I
see,
like
your work
that.
didn't go in vain.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, let's move on down. We have an Impact Center, new vendors. We have a couple presenters.
Yes, as the Impact Center continues its growth, there are certain new programs that we are going to have come in the new year. So the first one is a program around advanced manufacturing. Mr. Starr, who could come up and sit right there and tell us some more about your program.
I guess so, because Kelly doesn't cover this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about the seating arrangement. We usually have a.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening. My name is Terrence Starr. I serve as a program manager for NCUS Tech, Pittsburgh Untapped Manufacturing Program. It's an honor to be here today. So, we are working to build a stronger and more inclusive future with Pittsburgh's youth, especially here in the Mon Valley area. NCUS Tech, the National Center for Urban Solutions Technical Education Center, is a national workforce development organization with a mission to equip individuals with skills and credentials needed to thrive in today's economy. We operate in over 7 different cities, and we have partnered with multiple school districts and community organizations across the country to deliver high-impact training programs to lead to careers. Here in Pittsburgh, our Pittsburgh Untapped Manufacturing Program is already making a difference. We've trained 123 students with a 100% graduation rate, and we have an 85% placement right now into employment. Our students are stepping into careers in advanced manufacturing, automation, clean energy. These are industries that are booming right here in our city. And I don't know if you know, but Pittsburgh alone has over 1,900 manufacturing companies. Right now, one of our graduates, Raynisha Addison, she recently stood alongside Governor Shapiro and County Executive Sarah Inarado at EOS Energy's groundbreaking announcement last week. It was a $350 million project with investments that's going to bring 735 jobs to the Pittsburgh area. She's one of our success stories. We're happy she was able to do that. But right now, we're excited to say that we are bringing this opportunity to Woodland Hills. After productive conversations with Mr. Ford, we're proud to announce that we'll be launching the Untapped Manufacturing Program at Woodland Hills Impact Center. These classes are due to begin January 5th. The program will serve individuals 16 to 24. Our goal is to graduate over 100 individuals in that year, further expanding our impact on employment and development in the Mon Valley area and the greater Pittsburgh. Our curriculum is built around SACA, that is Smart Automation Certification Alliance. Equips students with industry-level skills in smart automation, electrical systems, and ensuring job readiness and careers for today and tomorrow. We believe that every young person in Pittsburgh deserves access to these industries shaping the future, and and we're committed to making that vision a reality for here in Mon Valley. This program is a 4-week program. It's free to everyone. And I am open to any questions you might have.
Just a real quick question, I might have missed it. You said it's for 16 to 24 for this program?
Yes, but it could expand to older.
Okay,
any
because I seen
residents that wants
in the
to-
paper it said for anyone 18 and older, so is that
That's-
something different than
that's
what you're
different.
offering? Okay,
That's the program that we offer to adults. We offer this to youth and adults as well.
okay.
I want to comment on a quote here that I think is rather touching. I never graduated from high school, but when I walked across the stage at NCUS Tech, I felt like I finally did. That is very touching. And,
Yes.
you know, that speaks volumes in minimal words.
That's Miss Addison. She never graduated from high school. She's a single mother, 2 children. One of the fathers is deceased, the other father is incarcerated. She was intimidated, but we worked with her, wraparound support. We placed her at EOS Energy at $18.50 an hour. Within 8 months, she is now earning $30 an hour. Her story was so touching that the CEO of EOS Energy asked her to join them when they announced their new rebuild that they're having over the North Shore.
So this doesn't, like, 24 years old. So if a 22-year-old walks into the Impact Center and says, hey, I heard about this program, I'd like to be a part, that would not be a problem.
Not at all. We just had one of the success stories we'll read about is Dylan Green. He graduated from Penn Hills. He is 18 years old, working at EOS Energy right now.
It's ironic, or coincidence that last week I was at the Advanced Manufacturing Conference downtown.
Okay.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't at the conference.
It was important. There was a lot of students there, and there's a former CTC instructor. And I'm hoping the parents see, because you look on this one page, you know, a warehouse managerial role, $74,880 a year. Every manufacturing company that was there was, they didn't have enough employees. And it's been a battle, so hopefully some parents are listening out there, because these are jobs that aren't going away. As us, we also, you know, being the #1 robotics capital in this, you know, in its city in the world, but the electronics, the electrical, the plumbing, HVAC, all these advanced manufacturing, AI, whatever it is, robotics, it isn't going away. Just trying to get that message out. And you know, people think, well, schools aren't promoting it. Trust me, schools have been promoting this since 2010. That's why we changed it from vocational technical education to career and technical education.
Absolutely.
But these jobs are there. So I'm glad you brought this information to us. And, you know.
Question,
Thank you. Yes.
does this happen in the evening?
I have spoken to Mr. Ford. We will create an evening class for your students.
Because I have an important question, and I think this is amazing. Our kids need to be able to walk out and get a job.
Yes, ma'am.
But does it encourage 16 and 17-year-olds who still should be in high school to stay in high school?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is just another avenue for them outside of college, those that don't want to go to college and pay for the college career, which is, you know, is getting higher and higher as the years go on. This is an alternative for them that puts them directly into the workforce. And we work heavily on soft skills and job readiness. We dive in that on how to teach them how to conduct themselves on the workforce. Just meetings I've had with UPMC and other of our partners is soft skills is something that they want us to drill down on that a lot of companies are having problems with. So we dive extensively in that sector.
Just a simple, couple of simple questions. Is there any limitations or any restrictions on who could apply for outside of age? So anyone can step in that space, apply. You're not looking at any background checks or anything like that.
No,
Just
ma'am.
making sure that they're interested in fulfilling the requirement of attending for 4 weeks, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Secondly, I'm always concerned about funding. Or you have any association with federal funding that would possibly pause the program, where you would be, you know, halfway through and then have to say, hey, we have to end it. So I'm just wanting to make sure that there's stability in the program so that as we present this out to our community, they know that there is truly a trajectory that's going to get them on the path to a career that will help them earn money.
Absolutely, that's a great question. We are funded by the Richard King Mellon Foundation and Heinz Endowment Foundation has just came on board to fund us for another 2 years to expand this project throughout the region. So it's secured.
It was nice to see that this was funded by, Richard King.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. This is amazing. This is exactly what our people in our region need for sure. And as a 4-week program, is that like a rolling enrollment, or is it this 4 weeks, sign up for this 4 weeks and then the next 4 weeks?
No, it is a rolling program. It continues on. If they want to further their education, we encourage that. We hope that they get on the job site and see different sectors that they might want to join. They might want to do CNC machining, or they might want to dive into AI. They can come back for further trainings from us for free.
Okay.
So that was, yeah, it cost these young adults absolutely nothing.
It costs
but their
them
time.
nothing. We have wraparound programs as well. We partner with Partner for Work. Rob Cherry, the CEO of Partner for Work, has been a great partner with us. He helps with transportation, clothing. I dive into job readiness. They are to dress properly, so we help them with clothing. I didn't add that we offer a stipend as well once they've obtained employment, which we help them with. We reward them with $250 to help with any cost they might have incurred. Also, if they keep that employment for longer than 90 days, I will reward them with another $250. We try to keep them on the job.
Another word question.
Go ahead.
I know you train them. Do you work with job placement for people who may have had run-ins with the law or even incarceration?
Absolutely. If you look on one of the pages, we have a gentleman that served 13 years in prison.
But working with them to make sure not,
We work with them throughout the
I
whole
see that one,
process.
but I want to, because
We work with them throughout the whole process, and our retention is over 2 years. We stay in contact with them. Ms. Thompson, where she's at, she is our talent development specialist, one of our career coaches, and we make sure that we assist them in anything they might need. We encourage them. We call it, they are the underserved. We don't like to call them reentry. That's why we call it Pittsburgh's untapped manufacturing. They're an untapped market to us.
a lot of kids do something dumb at this age. We don't want it to follow them around for.
And a lot of
Absolutely.
adults come out at this age and it's hard
So
for
I
them to
just want to say, I'm
Yeah.
so giddy with this because I went through a program years ago, getting back into the workforce after being a single mom. And all these things just resonate in my memory that this works.
Absolutely.
It works. I
Absolutely.
ended up with a 30-year career at Highmark and it just carrying on. So when people in organizations like yours come into our community, it's important for us to support you and to make certain that we get out there and stand by you. I would love to mentor. I'd love to come down there and check it out.
Please don't
I'm
speak.
like excitable about these type of things anyhow. So thank you so much. I'm really excited about it because this is for men and women.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We encourage women.
And women.
One thing I found out last Friday is still there's a huge underrepresentation of females in manufacturing. Huge. We worked closely with Westmoreland Community College in a previous school district, and their #1 welder was a young female. It was their best welder.
Absolutely. Our hot cards are, our marketing is definitely towards, it says women in advanced manufacturing. We spend quite a few dollars in marketing to make sure that we get this out to the community and make sure that everyone has a chance to take advantage of that.
This would do wonders. Good call, Mr. Ford. Good catch.
Thank you, Mr. Starr.
Absolutely.
Truly
I
impact.
appreciate what you're doing, and I know the passion is there.
Oh, it's going
No,
100%
trust me.
there. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Starr. In that same vein of empowering young women, we have a program that is going to come to the center.
Yes.
Gwen's Girls is coming to the center. So I'll let Ms. Anise take it from here.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm Denise McGill Delaney. I'm from Gwen's Girls. Gwen's Girls is a nonprofit organization that works with girls between the ages of 8 and 18. We provide a continuum of services from our academic support initiative to our school-based programming called Making Positive Life Choices, our out-of-school time or after-school program, as well as our young adult program where we work with girls on advocacy, self-awareness and things like that. And so Mr. Ford reached out to us and looked at us being a partner with them, and we're excited about the potential to have at the Woodland Hills Impact Center to provide out-of-school time services for the girls in the community. And then we have our Caring Connections program, which is a pre-arrest, pre-diversion program that works with both boys and girls in the community to prevent them from entering in the juvenile justice system. And so with that program, what we do is we connect families to resources and not just giving them the resources, say, figure it out. It's us, our staff, working with them, really looking at the resource, calling to make sure they're still available, connecting them, making that soft handoff with them to ensure that the services that they need to meet their family's needs will be addressed. And then in that program, we do have a follow-up where we follow them all the way out to 1 year to see if their services are being met. What we're looking to initially roll out at the Impact Center, as we have to vamp up for staffing for a full component of the program, but we would like to start with our parent engagement program being out there, where we have a parent engagement specialist who will work with the parents. And then we'll have a behavioral health component to that, where we have small clinical groups that would take place. We recognize when a lot of families come to Gwen's Girls is due to parent-child conflict, and so we want to work with families on that issue. So it's a component where we're working with the child in group, and then the parents and parenting group, and doing some code things together. And so we're looking at rolling that out, as well as our Caring Connections program. So those will be the first two components we'll roll out, until a little bit later on, then we'll be able to have the after-school programming component for that, as well as a summer programming. So that's Gwen's Girls in a nutshell. Any questions for me? Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
hi. So I hear a lot of parent involvement in there. I think sometimes, and Terry, you may have brought this up, like we have to support our parents as well. What type of support do you provide for the parents so they can be there for their kids? Because, like transportation, or do you offer up any type of service that will encourage them to take part in it? Because that's what we need, our parents involved
How do you
with our
get their
kids.
attention?
Yeah,
It's
something
still
that,
challenging for us
It
as
is,
well.
yeah, that's-
It's a challenging, and especially in this day and age, because a lot of parents unfortunately have to work multiple jobs, so having the time to come in. But what we try to do is Miss Kelly, who does our parent engagement component, she just reaches out to them one-on-one and try to meet them where they are. So she may meet them somewhere in the community if they can't get to us. We do have some transportation that we're able to provide. And so we have a fleet of a few vehicles, I shouldn't say a fleet, but we have a couple of vehicles where we're able to provide some transportation support. And then sometimes we have given parents and families bus passes if need to get to a place. But a lot of times it's just going to them and meeting them where they are, and not always having them come to us. And that's the best way. So even like with our after-school program, we're in 3 communities. We're in Wilkinsburg, Northside, and we're in McKeesport now. We have parent meetings at each site because we can't get parents from McKeesport to come all the way to Wilkinsburg. So we just have to figure out the best way to meet. And then we do surveys with the parents to see what are of interest to them. So not that they're just coming to just come and hang out, but what do you want to get out of parent group? So that way they're coming to get something from it, as opposed to just coming to hang out or just waste of their time, because that's what parents' problem is. They don't want to feel like their time is wasted. And so that's really how we do that, is more of that one-on-one support. And then once they get that buy-in, then they're willing to come in more frequently.
And when they're coming on a frequent basis, once you kind of get to the gist, right? Is there a secondary resource that you work alongside with that say, hey, maybe under these circumstances, you may want to seek, or I have a reference from this organization or this entity, like beyond the one-on-one?
Yes, definitely. So one of the benefits is a perk actually with our Caring Connections program. Our staff member is connected to the 211 system, and so she actually is kind of not really a part-time employee, but she does part-time with 211, so she has access to all those systems. So in terms of resources, we can access all of those things and connect them. If there's something that we don't already have a partner with or already working with someone else, we can get into that system to connect them and again, doing that soft handoff as opposed to just like, hand, take this phone number and call this and figure it out. You know, because a lot of times that's the barrier too. You call, you get an operator, and it's like, I don't have time for this. So, you know, we really do that soft handoff where we're walking them through that process.
How many people do you have in your program, just on a roundabout?
So for our after-school program, each site capacity is 30.
Okay.
And so, and then in our Making Positive Life Choices program, it depends on the school, but we probably serve, last year we served about 200 and something youth in that program. With our Caring Connections program, we served about 200 kids in that program. So it just depends on the different programs. And our behavioral health component, this will be something, currently how we're set up is you have to be enrolled in our program to receive our clinical services. And so when we just purchased a new building in Wilkinsburg, I'm not sure if you're aware of that, so we're building that building out. But once we build that out, we'll have our own mental health license so we can take people that's not enrolled in our services. But as being a part of the Impact Center, those families will be enrolled and will have access to that service.
I have a quick question for you. How about that? I love all of this. It's wonderful. How is this all self-identified, or they're going to be like working with the school social workers to identify students or families that would benefit from your programs?
When we spoke with Glenn, we talked about a combination. So we haven't solidified that. We'll be new to the Rankin community, so probably whatever he feels and what we feel will work best, we'll, you know, figure that process out. We're open to either way. And we might do both, you know, so.
I see as you offering hope. So many of our high school our kids feel hopeless. And this is hope right there. If you get that in their hands, there's just a step towards hope. They don't have it. They need it.
I mimic that for our parents. I'm big on, go, it starts at your house. I don't care, everybody knows it, I believe in it. So I think if you guys are unique and creative enough to even get the parents' attention, get them in one room, get them to utilize some of these resources, softly handle them and communicate and be successful, kudos. Congratulations.
If this works out, I know I've worked with you guys in Wilkinsburg, so I really appreciate the work you guys do. If this does work out, there's never enough parent engagement, ever, from our end. So if there's anything, if it does work out, maybe we can sit down and plan out what that year looks like, thinking about computer literacy, financial literacy, accounting, getting banks to come in to explain how they can get loans and things like that. If we can plan that out for the year, I'm open to that, because the more we can get them in, the more we can get our message out too.
And that's what we do, because we partner with the Dollar Bank. They've come in and talked to our parents and, you know, all of that stuff. And again, it's about what they want and what they need. And each site, the communities are vary on what they want and need. So we'll just see what this community needs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, just one last, what is the timeline for getting moving? I meant to ask that to the last speaker as well. When are these?
Oh, when are you gonna?
Yeah, when are you gonna start?
Caring Connections can start soon as Glenn tells us it's a go.
Okay.
So the Caring Connections program, that's an immediate, easy, you know, ramp up for us, as well as our parent engagement piece. Those two are the easiest ramp up programs. And so the other ones will probably be more into next year.
I just want to say, Glen's World is a great organization. Back when I was working as a recruit for Family Foundations many years ago, we always knew Glen's World was there. So I think it's a good program for us to finally put into our districts, and I think it's just an awesome program. And it's funny, yesterday somebody was telling me about your program, and I was like, oh, really? I don't think we have that over in Hills, and then here you are, so. You know, it's a great thing. But I just want to say you guys have been doing a great job for many years. And even with the funding challenges, you know, the state's been going through, you guys have stayed strong. So kudos to y'all for great work.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
And our final presenter is the Community Service County Program, Mr. Justin Biggs.
Did you say accounting?
County.
No,
County,
county.
with Allegheny County.
How you doing, everybody? Justin Bug. I am representing Mon Yop the juvenile probation of Allegheny County alongside my supervisor and chief probation officer. We are here representing community. My official job title is community monitor. Keyword is community, where we work alongside with the courts and our probation officers to help reintegrate our juvenile youth back into society. We help mentor and fulfill any needs provided by the courts as goals. And I reached out to a good friend of mine, Mr. Ford. He stepped out for a minute to, try to build that connection with the Impact Center. Key word is to get community service and help these kids be reintegrated back into society properly. So, alongside with him and his approval, I picked a handful of kids where I deemed suitable to be, in the community and to work properly and to be in a safe environment, so we can, work alongside Mr. Ford. And he had us doing a few activities that were really good and good for the kids and help build up a social and economic and, even physical. He had us trying to revamp and beautify their library at the Impact Center, which the kids were there for a few weeks, rearranging books and cleaning and, organizing everything for them. And a lot of these kids look forward to those type of things. The kids that we chose look forward to every Tuesday. Mr. Justin, are we going to community service today? I can't wait to go to the center, see Mr. Ford and do work and, try to be prosperous. That's basically it. We're just looking to continue to work side by side with the community, work side by side with Woodland Hills and Mr. Ford and the Impact Center. And hopefully we continue to keep this connection that we have with the center and, to help our youth. That's the main and end goal at the end of it all.
I have a quick question. Is it only for individuals that are on probation, or is it just those that are more delinquent, troubled people?
So everyone is court ordered to the program. You could be on it's called consent decree, so they may not be officially adjudicated of a crime, but however, they have to be court ordered to our program. Also, that comes within the court order is usually community service. Our judges like to see the kids do community service to, again, rehabilitate them back into the community. And unfortunately, it has been a struggle with having kids get places to do community service. So we would really love to keep this relationship if that's possible. However, like I said, we will make sure that we get our best of our kids. I know we have some kids who may not be fit for a community service project, so we will keep them back at the building. But everyone is court ordered to come to our program, and the community service is just a plus point for them to get stepped down from probation.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I asked Dr. Lucia is I think that'll be a good partnership with Sergeant Valez, as there are some kids here that might get citations and get ordered community service and may not be able to find it, or we're trying to piece that together. If they're already doing community service, they're already adjudicated, already have those things. We can keep it in the community, but also kind of mentor, make sure that they're getting it.
I feel that would be perfect because we're actually based out of the Mon Valley area in McKeesport. So a lot of our kids are from Rankin, Braddock, Swissville. So you might see some of them, you might know some of them.
Right.
So I feel like, why not do it in the place where they live at?
Exactly.
So
I saw what they've done in the library. It was great.
Yeah, I appreciate
I was down there last week.
And work them, just work them.
Sure. My question is, it sounds like this is great and all. Now, do you partner with Lee, with Reach, or you and Cure, or do you have a sort of inside partnership where you're connecting?
So as of right now,
potential kids versus you're just dealing with kids that are already court ordered, so you don't go outside of that scope.
Yeah, we don't go outside that scope just because it's just within the Allegheny County, with our policy and structure. So like I said, all the kids that we have are actually just court ordered to our center. Gotcha. So unfortunately, we can't promote for other kids to come because we have our numbers can go from 10 to 30 or up and down. So we just really work with the kids who are already just committed.
So I think it'd be good if we have our own kids that are in court order for them not to have to go to shopping for community service.
Right, and that has been our issue. We have other projects, but it's could you come to the West End, and then we're all way in Long Valley. It's fighting traffic, and it's a day treatment program, so the kids report to the center after school. So, so it's to keep the high-risk kids and moderate kids, out of trouble when after school, because after school there's a lot of downtime, and again, kids don't have a lot of things to do. So they come to the program, and then with that being said, on Tuesdays we pick or whatever day, works best for them to do community service. But they do come Mondays through Fridays, between 4 and 7:45.
Right.
So right now, we've been scheduled with Mr. Ford on Tuesdays of every week, from 4 to 7, so that's 3 hours of community service that the kids are granted.
Does that overlap with the kids who are just using the Impact Center?
No.
Otherwise?
Every program, it has its own time. So if children are coming for a specific program, they're in that room,
Okay.
in that program. And after it's over, they go home.
The ducks up.
Yeah, during our time there, the way Mr. Ford has it set up, we really just focus on what we're there to do and get the job done. We don't interfere with anybody else or stop anybody else's educational learning experience that they've got going on. So I appreciate Mr. Ford and even being an open arm to us and taking us on. I know when you hear juvenile, you might, get a little worried, but as I confirmed with him that our kids, we have kids that are, severe, and we also have kids who just make wrong decisions and sometimes they're just trying to rework their lifestyle. So that's what the connection that we have, but just to do it. He actually knows some of the kids that, we bring in and out of there, and it's to continue to be a mentor thing for them.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just throwing stuff against the wall. You think reaching out to the Rotaries, for example, our local boroughs for partnerships, going to Greater Valley, meeting Peace and Justice, networking that way. It's the fourth Tuesday of the month. And there's over 400 members, over 100 organizations that go to this meeting.
Okay.
So it'd be, I think, a neat opportunity, maybe.
Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
good. Yeah,
Sounds great.
more the better.
Yeah.
Well, you can put you in touch with me, and I'm happy to host you too.
Yes, please, thank you, yeah, because I just feel like we haven't been able to get a lot of networking for the kids out there in the area, so I'm really trying to push it, being the newer supervisor out there to make sure that these kids, because believe it or not, even though they are delinquent, they do like hands-on stuff. The kids are, if they're not in their phones, then they're just sitting at their desk bored, so when they're with Mr. Justin or they're out in the community doing something, like they actually look forward to it because they literally do nothing but sit at home, and watch TV. So my goal is to get them moving and to get them doing something proactive, which is also going to help them get off of probation, and the judges love to see it, you know what I mean? They love to hear that the kids are doing community service.
Right.
How can I use them?
I was thinking the same thing.
If you have any other locations in the Mon Valley area, another district where you feel deemable where we can come be a service, let us know.
Buildings and grounds, I,
Yeah, summertime grounds work, anything, painting.
Well, we have, we're always short on people, and I understand there's contracts and things like that, but if we're talking about advanced manufacturing, we're talking about all this stuff, but we're also figuring these custodial facilities jobs are really good career jobs.
Right.
And
I'm struggling, there's a lot of holes in the ship.
Everything could be a learning experience for these kids.
A lot of holes in the ship. Trying to keep it afloat.
Need us.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions, concerns, or anything?
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other lifelines you're throwing out there, dude? You're doing great.
Thank you for your time. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving feast is on.
Happy Easter, happy, I don't know.
We're not gonna see you?
I haven't done Thanksgiving yet.
So our Thanksgiving feast is on the 20th, okay? Allegheny Health Networks is a partner. Kellington Security is a partner. 50 turkeys and 50 food boxes giveaway. And then also, the Christmas celebration is the 11th.
Holiday.
Yes, oh, sorry, holiday light up night. Because that's the name, light up night, okay? It's on the 11th. There's a toy drive and festivities and cookie making and all of those things. So I'll make sure that the flyers and everything get out to you guys. Any more questions for me?
You did great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Some good stuff. Policy, right now we'll be looking at policy 105, 105.1, and 105.2. 105 is curriculum, and I know Dr. Wilson has been reviewing that. 105.1, you look at 105.1, it's review of instructional materials by parents and guardians and students. And there's not many changes. Just remember, for anybody that looks at these, if it's in bold, those are the major changes. And there's not a lot of changes on 105.1. The same thing with the 105.2, exemption from instruction. Not many changes once you take a look at it. Probably a page total on both of these, or for each of these. So there's not many changes, except we just got to make sure we communicate how we're going to implement these policies.
As a real quick high-level synopsis on these, all three of these, the new wording protects the district even more than it was before, and places the onus on parents and community members for review or exemption requests, all of those things, so that we're more protected than we were before from that perspective. So I think the changes are well received from PSBA and are a good recommendation.
If I'm correct though, 103.1, 103, and 104, this will be the third reading of them at the agenda meeting next
Yes.
week.
You are correct. Yeah.
And you've figured out your brackets.
Yes.
The brackets are done,
Yay!
and it's not even March Madness.
Yeah.
Yay!
But college basketball has started.
I think there was a question from a parent that they couldn't see it on the website.
Yeah, I think we fixed that, because it came to me, and I think we had that addressed. Did I talk to you about that? Or John, maybe? Talked to John, we checked it, like they couldn't see
Oh, the link, like the policy link?
policy links or
Policy
something.
link didn't open.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, on the board docs probably.
So hopefully it's been rectified. I know I talked to John about it. But if there's any parents or any, because we went in as, that's right, because we went in as a Google, the guest, to see if it would work. And it did work, so if there's any issues with it, please let me know.
Is this when I tell you I went to the PSBA thing?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
I went to the PSBA, Pennsylvania School Boards Association conference in the Poconos, and no, Kalahari, no, I did not swim, I wasn't there for swimming. I brought you a lot of stuff back, I distributed it amongst people here. I have information, they have new parliamentary procedures and things. They will, can go in our binders. I don't know if we want to collect the old binders, but the binders, and I do have a question whether or not we're going to update the binders as we do the policies, so we have the policies in hand. But I learned a lot from other school boards, the way they do things and the way we do things. And for example, you know how we do have some young kids come in and get awards. When some school districts, when those kids come in, they lead the pledge. Just little things, and mostly I was interested in, they were talking about getting the charter schools back, getting the kids back, because retaining those people can give us the funds back. And that sort of thing, so that's basically what I got.
She gave me a lot of materials too that I've handed out, will be handed out tomorrow to each team member, wherever it falls into play.
I would like to say that I saw several choirs and jazz. I did see Bethel Park's jazz band, but mostly you do not see kids from this side of the state because it's all the way across the state. So I would love to have our chorus or our band or come up and perform, but it would be a very long trip. to do one set. So hopefully they will be, the PSB had a 5-year contract with the Kalahari, and so hopefully they will get back to central part of the state, so so more people on the west side of the state can be involved in this whole process. And you go to listen to speakers and stuff. We need our side of the state represented.
I think they had a contract, I don't know how long that lasted.
It was 5 years, and this was the 3rd year.
That's right.
That's right.
That is right.
It was great. Yeah.
Anything else for policy? Curriculum? Anything? There's nothing, we don't have anything else there.
I have a question though.
Sure.
I think it's related to curriculum. So as we know, the financial situation of Pennsylvania is under a challenge right now. And what I would think that we should probably do is again, look at our contracts, and I think that we do need to review the next contract for how much we're spending yearly on that. Considering we've had it for, since what, 2022? And they were paying someone as a consultant, and when you calculate how much we pay him as a consultant and the times we see him, it's an astronomical amount. I would hope now that we would know how to operate BEX. Ms. Dietrich does a good job, but I just really think that we need to review that contract to see if it's sustained for another 2 years. I think it's, what, how much are we
I think it
spending?
ends next summer.
$96,000 a year.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot for one consultant. Usually a consultant trains you and then pays it over to you and not year over year. So I think that's a savings if we can look at it. Thank you for your services. We've got the kids, we know how to do it. We have teams. I would hope we can review our contract.
No, that's one of many that we need to look at and start figuring out what can we do on our own and what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, at my team meeting, have told my teammates to start looking at things like, if you see that we have a platform that we're not using or something that the teachers, it's become like a little bit obsolete, and maybe only a few teachers are still using it. We need to look at all of those and start, you know, like if it's not being used, but we're still paying for it, get rid of it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, we have gone through that, with Dr. White has eliminated quite a few programs. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
cost,
Yeah.
but I mean, I agree, you know, that we need to look at many of the contracts. And if it
I mean, more like technology and different things, you know, like how many
But
laptops
I
are we
don't
buying
want us
and
to
they're
start
like,
feeling as
yeah.
if though we're eliminating just for cost savings. And I know we're gonna look at the benefit of any one of them. You know, I think it's important to look at finance, but also what they bring to the school district. Because new projects will come in eventually, right?
Correct.
I mean, we can only hope that we do pass the budget. We can only hope that we get some, you know, some money back, some kind of way. I just don't want to start filtering through things and then, whoops, 2 years, oh, we should not have cut that, and then we can't get it back. So I want us to be very cautious when we make those decisions. And I'm not pinpointing just any one. I just think that this, because there is so many, you know, let's weigh this in a way that's not going to affect how we educate our children. I mean, we still have to.
Still gotta educate.
It's impossible to even do that now. We have no idea how much money we're gonna get from the state.
Absolutely.
Like for this year, it's November.
Yeah.
We're past the first 9 weeks already. We have absolutely no idea how much money they're giving us.
But I think it's important for us to do our due diligence and
Yes.
look at contracts. But when in this one in particular, I just feel we have Ms. Dietrich working full-time on that. I think a lot of the staff members, Ms. White Price, I want to say her name correctly.
Yeah.
She's educated. I mean, there was a Pittsburgh robotics. I think robotics is here to stay. And I think, I can let you know, AI is here to stay. I just don't know if we want to pay an individual a high salary as a consultant to what?
Right, and we could maybe
We can-
modify the contract, because it could be just you come in,
Right, if it was
you know,
just need
like
reasons,
that,
that's
you know,
different, yeah.
because I think just from what I have read and following Ms. Dietrich, he ends up bringing some outside information that could be valuable to our kids, obviously, but it doesn't have to be a continuous contract. We would have to definitely modify it, because how do you justify
But I
it?
would also like to see him bring grant opportunities, for
Yeah,
example.
oh, yeah.
25,000 went to Gateway last week.
I'd like
for
to
vets.
give you an example of something. What I saw, there is a table. It's a table, it's an anatomy table. It's electronic, you touch the heart and it tells you, and it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
It's amazing.
We have so many, and beautiful, and I thought, wow, we have so many kids in our district. UPMC is the biggest employer in Pennsylvania. Our kids are gonna be doctors and nurses and everything. Anatomy and physiology could use that class. We don't have $10,000. And we should be able to have that budget, so our kids get the good things too, because that would be so helpful. We don't have the $10,000.
They have one at the Career and Technology Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
We have one at the Career Technology Center here.
They're
Yeah.
awesome. At Ford.
Forbes.
At Ford, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't to say I'm not downplaying him. What I want to say is, as we look at our budget, and I know Jill's going to talk about it, it breaks my heart when I see our teachers doing fundraisers for field trips for a couple kids. We can have school supplies. Like there's small things that we know are going to go back to our students. And I think sometimes we're not realizing when we do these kind of contracts and we pay an individual outside, and then our own kids are not benefiting from a field trip, from school supplies, from Dr. Lucy suggesting as the book, if someone gets you that book costume to come. But little things like that, we should really use that money to invest in our students, and as Ms. Arthur was saying, bring that to the kids and to training, to give them opportunities, and not for us to have these contracts that were great and fine and bubbly and perfect. Now we're like, okay, thank you for your services, it's great. Where can we reinvest that money back into the district and not outside the district? That's all.
We want our kids to have good things too. And by the way, they love field trips, because a lot of them don't get to go anywhere.
And that's what I mean, last year.
Cross the river.
A lot of them didn't get field trips, and we would have used that $100K on field trips. How many of our kids went to the History Center, to the zoo?
And I get that, and I think we've made some fumbles along the way too. When it came down, and Mr. Belmont, you can support me on this comment, when we were going through our superintendent, we spent money on an outside individual who netted nothing for us, nothing, and it cost us a lot of money when we could have been internal. So we got to think strategically when we are supporting this or that or making strong decisions, and I agree with you. If VEX is something that we can do standalone, let's do it. Let's do it, and that's just one of them. But we also have to be very smart on when we make decisions, like who we are paying, and we missed the mark, and we missed a big chunk. We could have saved that money. That could have also been funding for our teachers or for field trips as well.
That's a massive part of our curriculum though, so that it has to be carefully planned out. That's a massive part of our curriculum. And every curriculum, because that really has to be foresight on that one.
I must interject that I was told specifically that Mr. McKenna's contract has nothing to do with writing any curriculum. He is not writing curriculum. All he is doing is consulting, so.
Well, let me say, it's a massive part of a teacher's daily or weekly or monthly plan.
But if it's not.
It's a massive part of what people have to plan out to do. Me, I would have loved extra time, but you.
Okay, but I think, and Sarah, I'm going to support you on that statement because that was stated. And I felt that's enough that I wasn't around whenever that contract was developed. I wasn't in it, but I appreciate VEX. I appreciate what it brought. I was at the Impact Center when he did a presentation. Who was there? Nobody. No one showed up for it. He opened it up to everyone. No one came. So we missed the mark as well. When there's an opportunity, you went on that? No.
I didn't get
Okay.
into that.
Well, anyhow, I went. You know, there was maybe Sarah. I think you came later that night.
That's possible.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there are introductions to additional information that we could learn from. But does it have to be in a solid contract like what he has?
Exactly.
So I agree, let's modify it if we have to, because if we're not getting what we need to get out of it, then yeah, come on, but that's not the only one. But VEX has been a focus for a while, ever since I've been on this board.
Well, I could say, from a parent's perspective, VEX is on my mind because I know it's an elementary, and then you get to Dixon, and then there's a whole entire innovation class. So we have it in our curriculum. We have it for the kids to get. It's starting to feel duplicated when you have That's for here, and then you're doing, oh, innovation, oh, and now we're gonna do STEM. And it's like, well, which one is not STEM? Because they're both sounding exactly. So, you know, for Dixon, they're building robots. Okay, you did that with Vex, but that's a part of the curriculum, and that's a semester course, which we have a teacher who does that only. So it's
And
kind
I
of,
think she needs help too. I think more teachers could be
well, not
involved.
Dixon, it's
We're all
Burlington.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
So it wasn't
That's
just
out of my
started,
lane.
it was just a
That's out of my lane.
statement.
That's out of my lane. I don't know about Dixon that
So-
much, so.
Just because it's been mentioned, because Vex has been mentioned as part of the curriculum and as part of what we do, I will name a couple of things. And I think that there's a big picture issue, and then there's a more focused picture issue. The first issue or the first conversation is whether or not Mr. McKenna is meeting what is in his contract. And I think that it is difficult. I am not a lawyer. I did not go to law school, but I have signed many contracts, and I've seen many contracts, and I've been in education contract world for 20 years. I think it's very difficult to renegotiate or cancel a contract unless we have some clear evidence that the contract is not being met. There are lots of contracts in this district, and there were lots when I was at PBS, that I would have loved to renegotiate it, and that were signed by somebody previous to me, right? A different board from y'all signed this particular contract. But I'm looking at the contract right now, and everything that is in the contract for Mr. McKenna to do, he's been doing. So the reason why we've been able to expand Vex at Dixon, the reason why we've been able to move to AIM, the reason why we now have a high school team, the reason why we have a scope and sequence that meets both the innovation class for the VR and Milligan and 6th grade is because Mr. McKenna meets with groups of teachers and Ms. Dietrich and the things that he says he's gonna do in his contract. So I think that it would be very challenging to go back and say, all right, well, we don't need you anymore.
I don't think you're saying that, though. She's not saying that.
That's not renewing it.
We're looking at, down the road, looking at all contracts, that being
Correct.
one, to make sure.
Correct.
All right,
It's like you
where's
can
the
make him
need?
cover classes for his spare time and
Yeah.
get some other use out of
I
it.
agree, we need to find out, making sure, wherever we're at on contracts, that
But they're meeting it.
are we maximizing our dollars for our
Well,
kids?
sure.
Yeah.
Are
And
we
if I-
maximizing our dollars for our kids? I don't think she's saying going back and redo it. I think she's saying, when that contract's up, we need to look at it and say, all right, do we need to do something different?
All right, then we heard different things then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a twofold, I could say it's a twofold thing. So when you're saying he's meeting everything, I know in his contract, it was about job opportunities for our students. If he can come tomorrow and say, Donika Griffin got a STEM job because of this program, I would say, okay, great, that's awesome. So it's those communications back to us that when we look through and we're like, okay, you said you were gonna create this, he might have did a club, but where's those jobs for our students? Where are they? And you said grants, okay, how much in grants are you bringing back to the district?
Yeah.
So it's not saying he did horrible. There's probably pieces in there where it's a fine gray line. Yeah, you probably met it, but was it our expectations? And I think we brought this up before with evaluations. We need to be more mindful and have a scorecard every quarter or every year. Is this contractor or this vendor doing exactly what we expected? If not, we won't wait 5 years to say, hey, you know what? 3 years ago, we signed that contract and you're no longer doing it. We need to get more mindful of our contractors, evaluating them, are they hitting the mark? And then down the line, we can say, this was a great relationship, we built this over 5 years, thank you for your services, we appreciate it, but now we can own this project, and we can own this program, and we can move forward. We don't need a consultant in the background anymore. So it's a twofold. It might not be ended now, it might be. Who knows, but when it ends, we definitely need to be more mindful when we sign things, how are we evaluating them, and then how can we reuse that money back into our students, into our district?
Here's another who knows. The computer in the 50s took up a room this large and just did a binary yes-no functions, and now our phones do 60 times more than that. We don't know for sure, because it's mind-boggling, the things about with AI, we don't know for sure what our kids are facing, but I know that coding, and Vex is a lot of coding, I know that coding is essential, and I don't think many of us, I know you could, I don't think the rest of us could do coding that easily, and they are learning that, and that might be a life skill that they need to know, so we have to suss out what's really important from that we need to keep, because we have to get them ready for that future, which we don't know is coming, it's just going so fast.
I must point this out, because I keep forgetting to point this out. There is free Vex curriculum materials, absolutely free, available through Carnegie Mellon Robotics. completely free, that, that can be used by anyone at all. Just go download it, there it is. I'm not saying it's a whole school year, whole semester worth of curriculum, but it doesn't cost anything. And there are so many other resources that are not one person who is not local, who is not here frequently, that has a interpersonal relationship with the people that wrote up this contract for an exorbitant amount of money. You're gonna have given this man $500,000 by the time he's done. And I do not believe that there is any way to quantify whether or not he has done $500,000 worth of work if what we're basing it on is the future success of the children that have learned through the VEX program. Of course, that's not quantifiable. But as far as what is quantifiable, what is even in this contract as being the benchmarks, the deliverables, is also not worth $500,000 to me.
How long
And
does
so
that
much of it
contract
could have been done.
So the final
For so
payment
much
is
less.
December 1 of 2026.
So our wish may come true where we can modify that contract or end it. I think
So a year from now,
I mean, what are we
we'll
gonna
know.
do? We can't change it at this point.
so she's brought up a good point, think it through this year.
Yeah. We have to change how we look at everything, right? And that includes this contract.
Yeah.
I think we need to settle that right now.
Yeah.
We just do need to review that contract. It's been a pain point ever since I can remember.
Those pain points since I got here too.
Right,
Well, I had
so,
a couple. I had Killington too.
okay. well,
Immeasurable benefits,
that- I mean, but that's
immeasurable
all I've
benefits
heard
to our
from
children,
anyone.
great benefits
It
to our
has
children.
been, but I have to honestly
So we
say,
have to think.
I
other
agree
things.
with what you're saying here. Is it worth it? And no offense to anyone, but is it worth it? And I could say that for any contract. I don't know all of them, but VEX just happened to always land it on our table. And so, yeah, I'm gonna look at it. I did reach out to Dr. Wilson to say, what's going on with the contract? I wanted to know for me. And based off of the information that you provided me, based off of the benchmark, based off of the deliverables, he is meeting his contract requirements. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how to read that. I'm gonna trust the people that are in charge or who know how to understand that. Wasn't here when it was agreed upon, wasn't here when it was viewed. We know down the road, this is what we're gonna do, right? So I think we need to.
Well, I would say committed benchmarks and results been shared with the whole entire board.
Sure, I think they do, absolutely.
Because I believe, because I actually voted against renewing his contract because I remember saying, if you all were saying that the program contributed to, it like improved or about the racial achievement gap, like it was closing the racial achievement gap, the increased scores. So if that's the case, one, I'd like the information on that. Like exactly how you determined that it made an impact. And also with everything that Ms. Griffin just requested as well.
So is there, how did we look at contracts that are in that position to review them and do we have a system set up or just hope that you guys will do it?
Yeah, so like if it falls into that, whoever role it falls under, like this summer we had an issue with, as I understand, with the transportation contract that we're now dealing with. You guys addressed something because it wasn't supposedly fulfilling the obligations of the contract. So if it falls under there, but I can pull his and look at it closer on my end too.
So we can trust that the people that you're
Yeah.
doing it will be looking at it?
Well,
But
That's what we need to trust.
That's not what we're saying. We're not saying we
don't trust
him.
No, I'm saying we don't have to do this as a committee. We've hired you guys,
But
now we expect you to do it. Let us know because
So
we'll be
I
looking at
think
it.
in the long run, we're looking for evidence.
Yeah,
We need evidence, we
and that's
need
the evidence.
factual information. As Ms. Reed said, let's see what those, if we meet the benchmark for approving the African American children's test scores. And I think when I first got on the board, I did present that to you, Dr. Wilson, let's see where that has changed. You have mentioned it, but we need evidence, we need to see that, and that's all around, I think.
Exactly,
Ricky,
that's really for
all
every
around,
contract,
right.
just having
So,
benchmarks is just.
We're covering a lot of ground here, and VEX just happens to be that one pain point that we really need to hone in on because of the exuberant amount of money. It is a lot of money, I mean,
It is.
come on, especially for what we're going through. So I would love for us to review that, if you can share that information with everyone, and we can talk about it and see where we're going. Based off what you're saying, Dr. Wilson, we can't end the contract right now, right? But we know what we're building on. We're building on layering out how can we change it, end it when the contract is up.
You realize his mind is spinning because you just invited him to get data.
I know, and that's okay. I like that.
Well,
Data.
I respect the question, and I
Yeah.
respect it, because if we're spending money on something, we need to
Yeah.
make sure, and if that's a
Yeah.
problem issue, then that's an issue that we need to.
Oh,
Dr. Wilson, so are you clear on what it is we want you to monitor?
I'm not. Not in the least.
Oh,
There are so many
I'll write
questions
it.
here,
Yeah.
right? So like, are we asking for, because there's a question of Mr. McKenna's contract specifically. There's a question of whether or not we can alter Mr. McKenna's contract and whether or not he's meeting the benchmark set in his
I think
contract.
there's only one question right now,
Yeah, let's
is we need to
start
pull the
with meeting.
contract and take a look to make sure he's
He's meeting.
meeting the expectations of
And
the
seeing
contract. Other
how
than that,
you're saying
the other
he's
questions
meeting.
are meaningless until
Yeah.
we look at
So we
that.
look at that.
as a proud union member, no, we can't interfere with his contract, but as a school board member, I say when that contract is up,
Well, you can interfere with the contract if they're not
If it's
meeting the
right.
yes, if he's not
expectations of the
meeting it, but
contract.
Vex is really doing, so, yeah.
So, yeah, so that's it. Just one thing.
I got you.
Put your mind at rest, just one, right? We all agree to that? One,
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, well, as long as we get to see what, so to publicly say that a certain program increased test scores, that's a big deal. So I'd like to see exactly how you came to that, or if they came up with that, like who did and.
Yeah, I don't know what was stated to
Right,
you guys
because he would have to
verbally.
say.
I wasn't here.
I can tell you, yeah, the contract, so I have the contract. So the services he were providing, professional development plan implementation for teachers, yes, I could see that. Instructional plan for K-12, I guess that's the gray area, we're saying yes. Ongoing support for teachers, yes. Ongoing support for administrators, yes.
That's easy data to find out.
Right, community and parent outreach, yes. Implementation and support extracurricular activities, the VEX robotics team, yes. Implementation and support of implementation and support of summer opportunity camp. We don't have opportunity camps anymore, so that would be obviously a no. Expansion of the current STEM program into more classes. That's a gray area of a benchmark to figure out, yes.
Yes.
Assisting in the creation of marketing materials for parents and community members. Yes, so I mean, these are services, but they're really, really basic, and when we're talking about the amount of money we are asking for, that's when we're starting to say, where's the rest of this? And then in this contract, it was something different. I wanna say it was creating the jobs and support, so it's two different things. This contract said one thing, this one's saying something different, so I think we need to compile the two, ensure that the deliverables in this contract, he's still supposed to meet in this contract, and then with these services that are outlined, how are we gauging it? And if we were saying from when this was signed in 2022 to 2025, we've seen 5% increase on parent outreach. We're seeing a 10% increase on STEM programs. We know we don't have opportunity camp because that's gone, so that should be mutant point and no longer. So we're kind of just saying, these two and these two need to kind of match. And if
There
we're
are two
saying,
contracts?
yeah.
It was the original contract and an
This
extension
one
on
is,
the contract.
this one is.
So there was an original
it's
contract.
consulting
And then it was extended.
It was extended, and then,
Yeah.
there was
It's in
one,
December 22's board.
And then there was one August 17th.
yeah,
So yes, there's two different.
and then there was.
But
one
what you're
other
saying is we do that with every contract, right?
second.
What's that?
When
Exactly.
every contract is up, you review.
But I don't think his original
His
contract
original
was up.
wasn't up. No,
Mm.
we reviewed it before it was up.
Yeah,
And it was
um,
yearly previously, and then it went into this, 5-year?
It was very good,
So my question is probably why did we renew a contract that wasn't up?
yeah,
Exactly.
very good question.
Okay, next transportation.
On that note, you guys touched on something too. When Ms. Reed mentioned the Kellington contract, that got renewed in October
Yes.
for a summer of the next year renewal.
That's right.
Entirely too soon, and I was at a football game a week after that renewal, and the owner of Killington came over to me and thanked me for the renewal. And I looked right at him, I said, I missed that meeting, had I been there, I would have voted no.
Yeah.
So I think in policy, while we're cross-pollinating committees right now, Laura, if we can put something in there about when is the appropriate amount of time to renew contracts. Because there's two examples right now that they just got done, and they should have not been done when they were done.
Yeah.
And it's usually 90 to 180 days out,
I forgot you told me about that one.
not
You're right.
90 days in.
Right.
So going back to Dr. Wilson, are you clear on what you need to do?
I can write it, I'll write it.
Nope. I was, and then we reopened several things.
Okay, so let's
what
go
I'm
through
gonna
this
do.
systematically.
Okay.
You ask the question, we'll get you the answer so we can get this done clearly. Go
So
ahead.
what my action step from here is to send all of the Jason McKenna contracts to my supervisor and the solicitor, and then ask for what additional materials are being requested based on the contract and what's outlined in the contract. That is my plan. If there's anything that y'all would like me to change about that plan, I'm happy to do so. But I also, not being a lawyer, am not going to say a contract is or is not being met and or can be canceled, because based on the wording in the contract, I'm telling you that all of the benchmarks that are set forth in the contract are being met. So
We just might have to have that data to support it.
Right,
okay.
That's all.
Right.
yeah, like who is interning at the Dex office?
Mike, I guess what you're saying though, and you'll notice if you look under our policy, we don't have our administrative regulations published. And that probably should be an administrative regulation. I don't know if you know the difference between a policy and administrative
Right.
regulation. We should probably have that as administrative regulation, which can be changed easier than a policy. But it is, it says districts, and it's made by administrators, that our policy should be not to renew a contract unless it's within.
And sometimes they'll have it listed in the contract, a lot of
Yeah,
times they'll have it
yeah.
listed in the contract.
We don't have anything in our AR manual except supervising home education.
Well, let's put on the January committee meeting for a follow-up and see where we're at with that.
And the majority of your contracts should have in there, when you send them to the school solicitor should have, say, 90 to 100 days or 60 days.
Before we leave Bex real quick, I ran into Miss Dietrich at the Impact Center, and I commented to her, I said, your weekly updates seem to be kind of redundant. And she looked at me and said, yeah, it's a lot of the same stuff week to week. And I said, would you like it if we did, if you had to do that a few amount of times? She said, yes. So I'm throwing it out to the group, how often do you think we should see that update?
It is redundant.
I feel like she looks at it like every teacher looks at doing lesson plans on Sunday night. She must think, oh goodness, here I go again.
I gotta
To-do
do
list.
it, yeah.
Can it be a monthly, like, does it?
Yeah.
It could be a monthly.
All in favor?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And again, some school districts have things sent out more often than we do. Remember we used to get the little newsletters and things, you'd get more stuff? That could be something. Oh,
We'll talk.
I don't think any of you are old enough to remember when the little printed out newsletter came and you hoped your kid's picture was in it.
Well, we're doing 3-4 times a year.
No, this was on Ditto. This was like on copier and sent out. And you wanted because every school was in it and you were looking for your kid to be in it. No, it wasn't Ditto.
It was like, remember that?
Yeah, I do remember, right? Yeah. No, it was, because they need to see their kids and things. You want to see your kid doing something.
All right, anything else on curriculum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ms. Arthur,
Yes.
on the subject of AI that came up, I think, I'm going to throw this out, I think it'd be a neat idea if maybe every couple of months we had something about artificial intelligence to show our community that we're aware of it, this is what we're doing about it, we're aware of how it can impact us in the classroom, our students generally. Just tell our residents that we are doing something about it, whatever that looks like. So Dr. Wilson, Dr. Lewis, whoever else, you know, what do we want our residents to know about this? What is it that concerns us, and what are we doing about it?
And that would be good as parent communications, but I'll be talking a little bit about it next week.
Okay.
Our students at the Student Summit, and they did a presentation at the Penn State Global Impact Forum yesterday. It was very impressive. I wish you guys could have seen our students there. I just received a text message. So a couple of students asked if they could go back down today. I asked the high school principals if they could make it happen. I don't think, we couldn't make it happen. It was just a lot at the last minute.
Get an Uber.
And it was a lot at the last minute, but these are 3 students in that summit. And let me tell you that we had about 6 or 7 students there yesterday. Conversations with big government officials. It was, if you Google the Penn State Global Summit, but then we couldn't get them down there today. 3 of the students made their way down there by themselves this afternoon afterwards.
Maybe they should.
And we heard that Mark Cuban was gonna be there, and this was the question of one of our, Avery, one of our students, Avery. If you could redesign she asked Mark Cuban this afternoon, if you could redesign the American education system for an AI-driven world, what would be your first change? That was one of our students confronting Mark Cuban today. Those 3 students went down today on their own because they were passionate about it. It was an impressive experience yesterday, really was. And I'm going to give a bigger update on that with some pictures and things next week, and give you a synopsis of some of the people that they've met.
Maybe they should have, maybe they should present.
Oh, no, they are. I told them, well, part of the, so.
You know which one of my kids that is, sir.
So part of the agreement, if I could got them down there, was they have to come present, but they'll come present anyways. They agreed to present, so, just give you a heads up on that. Thank you, yeah.
And if you read that Ballotopia that comes out every other
Yeah,
day,
Ballotopia.
that was their topic today, AI. And I was just saying to Ms. Griffin, there was a young lady on the news today that just learned AI 4 months ago. She's blowing up so big on creating these AI images and music videos, and it is amazing what she's doing.
And it's hard to keep up with, right? I know Dr. Wilson, some of my staff when I was in Wilkesburg, they were part of a cohort that was down in Texas last year. We've met with attorneys, because all of our legal things for superintendents revolves around AI. Attorneys are having a hard time keeping up with it, of all the legal issues. That's why no one really even has a solid policy out there yet. Because it's moving so rapidly, nobody even has a solid policy to build around it yet.
I know that our kids are really good at figuring out something that's been AI written as opposed to to writing it yourself. They can judge that because you can tell it's kind of flat.
No.
I was
You
waiting
know,
about
at AIU, we learned that you can create a podcast.
A podcast, somebody
It
just
still comes out kind of generic.
No. No.
If you saw this
no,
thing, you would
it's
never
not that.
know.
And there's so many, and
would just
Dr.
never
Wilson
know.
tell you, there's so many AI
There's
tools
so many.
out there now.
I have them in my folder. There's about, even at my daily life, we change our policy for AI probably every week. Something always changes because it learns from you, and then somebody else adapts something else to change it. So you would think AI would be, oh, I am a robot. It'll be like, hey girl, Donika, what you doing today? Oh, we going outside? Like, it will be me, but in a phone. It's not, as they always say, AI is not going to replace your job. People that don't know AI, that's when you want to lose your job. You're going to have to learn it someday. You have to be responsible in knowing how to pull yourself out of ChatGPT and pull yourself out of it. So we have to learn it.
Get off your dang phone.
She got a Grammy. She got a Grammy. That
Yeah,
person.
We good on curriculum?
Yeah.
Special education? Anything? Pupil personnel? I don't think we have anything. Pupil personnel, technology?
I think we just did that.
AI.
Safety, security?
I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
We don't have anything yet. We may have something we're caught in between here, so may have some.
I have a
I'll keep you
question.
updated.
They offered me more Stop the Prop stickers. I said I ordered 500. Have they been put in our doors around the building to stop propping doors open?
There's no doors been propped open anywhere in recent times.
Yeah, it's the sticker that says stop the prop so you
I
don't
got
prop
tons
person.
of them,
I know, I got 500 of them sent here,
I got a bunch of them.
just asking.
Now, we've been, and that's been an initiative of ours too, is even going through the hallways, not even just propping the exterior doors open.
Interior.
Interior doors have to be shut and locked. So even if we're trying to make sure our staff is always keeping the doors shut and locked. It was cool today, I was in a classroom today, the kid wouldn't even open the door. I appreciated that, and it was, well, it was Jay. I appreciate the kid didn't open the door. I was a stranger today. So.
Stranger danger.
Yeah. Up in Wilkins, it was great. And by the way, speaking of Wilkins, I'll show you guys a video next week, but it was a cool video of what they were doing with engineering in gym class today. Instead of dodgeball, they had to create, I'll tell you next week, I gotta show you the pictures.
I bet it was a kindergarten didn't let you in. Them little ones was
No, they won't.
Oh.
They're mean.
I appreciate it. But I'll keep you updated if there is anything on this to see.
Okay, thanks.
Food service, transportation.
Garrett, take it away.
Yeah, so to the effect of transportation, like the incident today, we needed a vehicle at the last minute. So we're looking to get another district van, hopefully. Doesn't have to be brand new, doesn't have to be fancy. When I started, we had 3 district vans. They're for the teachers, coaches, whoever needs to use them can utilize them for their students. Last year we were down to 2, then something happened, the one just kept breaking down, so now we're down to 1. You know, last minute scheduling conflicts, we had 1 cross-country player that was going to Hershey that was running that we needed the coach to drive, but FBLA also had an event, a conference 5 hours away. So the issue kind of came down. Thankfully, we put our heads together and Danny helped us out last minute. The cross-country coach was able to utilize one of the his vehicles, work trucks. Yeah. But you know, it just kind of put us in a little bit of a predicament, you know, with getting the kids there. So we're going to be. We want to.
So we had 3, we're down to 1, right?
Wow.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I sent to Dr. Wright a video from Phase On Elementary, and they did a video of bus.
I saw that. I thought that was really cool.
That's so cute. I didn't send it to everybody because I wanted her to see it, see if she thought, you know, since you all did that initiative for bus services, and I said, well, let's start there. And it is so cute. Like they rap and they talk about how you should behave when you're on the bus. It's really nice, and then she really liked it, and I think that she may end up trying to initiate that for our bus services, but it's really nice.
Good. And I know, just an update, we did, across the board at elementary, align our PBIS with the behaviors and consequences for busing. Just because I'd rather have one parent mad at me than 50 because of an accident if it's the same student over and over again. So, you know, if it takes 5 on a level 1, you know, the 5th, they could be off the bus for the remainder of the year. For level 2, it could be 4 incidents. A level 3 could be just 3 instances. But it's consistent now across the board because, again, we want to keep the kids on the bus, but we also can't have one kid put 50 others in danger as well. But I'd like to see that too. But I know they've been trying to get on the board on buses in practice and so on.
Yeah, Edgewood was doing some simulations where Ms. Coleman said we had drivers stay after and then they'd have groups of kids come on the bus. And it's been effective, to my understanding.
So I did have a little topic here. When I got time, I be home all the day. You know, work from home is a thing for me. So I found something interesting on the news. They were talking about the police when they do their safe day on the bus stops. Actually, the bus violations are increased this year. So 2024 was 176. This year it's 188, and that wasn't even all the school districts in the state of Pennsylvania. So they just wanna make sure parents know that when you see the lights on, that does mean stop. When you see the arm out, that does mean stop. So if we can just do something to remind parents about the safety.
Yeah.
Because every bus stop does not have what they call them, crossing guard. Everyone does not.
Yeah.
I've even seen it in my neighborhood where people will say, oh, well, the bus is here and I can make the right. And it's kind of like, you never know where those kids are
Exactly.
coming. I mean, of course, the fine's 250, 355 points, but just because we know some of our children are walking to the stop alone, it's dark in the morning, especially with our high schoolers, if we can just make sure we communicate, hey, when you see those lights, please stop. It can be something dangerous that happens. We want to be more proactive, but it was just astounding to say they're seeing an increase and they only have all the schools. So that just makes you wonder if they would see every single school, what would that number really be? Or speeding. Like, that's not, you know.
Yeah.
So that's just something interesting for us to consider, that that's becoming an increase and not a decrease, and we have little ones.
We have a Facebook page, I can put it out there, and
Yeah.
we can put it on our website.
Make sure you're stopping.
Yeah.
And don't
So,
hit me.
Garrett, are you gonna look into getting pricing for?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll look into pricing,
It is in the budget, by the way.
okay.
Throw that on there. It is good, yeah.
Yeah, we're just looking for something 7 to 10 passengers, like a Dodge Caravan type thing, nothing fancy, we don't need leather interior and a sunroof, we just need 4 wheels and something safe to get the kids to and from,
Don't
you
be
know.
hanging out the sun.
Can we get the turbo package though? I really would like the turbo package.
Electric car?
Yeah, if you have a pickup truck, you can put a lot of kids in the back.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Good point.
I'm gonna take us back
Do
to
they
the
come with
60s
seatbelts?
and 70s. Do we have safety guards? Children have safety guards?
Yeah.
No, no?
Like safety monitors, like
no.
kids.
Oh, bus monitors. Bus
No,
controls.
I mean, like
Crossing
crossing,
guards.
like
Oh,
working
yeah,
with the
Right
crossing
around
guards.
such a busy.
I did too, I was just wondering if that's
We
something
have
that's
my
not
previous
Patrol
school
kids with
Yeah,
the
they have
patrol.
patrol,
Yeah,
yeah.
You had
Yeah,
to send kids down the steps or
Yeah.
skipping steps.
Crossing guards is a
I
hard
mean,
thing.
you could get some kid that, had straight A's, let them work with the crossing guard, or helping the teachers come into the school, and, just the pride.
Mhm.
The pride.
They're very prideful with it, I know, because we started with 10, we ended up with about 50, and they love wearing their stuff.
I lost my best friend over that orange badge. I lost my best friend over that orange badge, because she got the orange badge, and I should have been the bus monitor. But she didn't.
Wow, okay.
But I know we had our safety, our security guard, he's the one who implemented it, and he said he was gonna do it, he did it, and it just kept blowing up.
I just think it's something else to
Yeah.
give the kids a sense of responsibility.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just how I manifest that, that's up to you.
Okay, all right.
But
Right.
just thought, that might be something to
And I'm gonna want an
encourage the
orange
kids.
stash.
Okay,
Just
I
so
get
you
you.
know.
You got it.
Then there is the food safety, food service component of the food service, and transportation committee, which, Garrett informed, me earlier today, and us earlier today, that that we will be still able to, provide free breakfast and lunch through October and November and December. If you wanna add any more details to
Yeah,
that.
so the National CACFP Association, they reached out earlier to let us know that we will continue to receive reimbursement for October, November, and December. So essentially that just means, we're gonna continue to serve our free meals. There's not gonna be any interruption to our students. And then we'll continue to receive our reimbursement on the back end for those meals.
Has your order capacity changed with all that's going on with farmers and things like that? Like, have you seen any kind of?
We haven't, I work with Kylene. Kylene does the ordering and everything, and she hasn't brought anything to my attention specifically yet.
Okay.
In the springtime, we started talking about, there might be issues down the line, but we haven't encountered anything specific yet.
I have a comment, but let me get some water first.
She was so intrigued by my statement.
I was. So, there was an email that came out about National Food Service, and in it said, and I asked Carlene about it, about certain foods couldn't be served if they were not domestic
Yes.
foods. And I said, how does that impact our kids? I mean, we don't grow pineapples here, you know, we don't grow, I don't know everything, you know, that we grow, but where will that negatively impact our kids on what they get served? And with cutbacks, how does that also impact our kids? Do they have the potential to have less nutritious meals because you have to follow those guidelines of this administration? So she said she wasn't, you know, that they're able to get healthy food options in spite of that, but that concerned me that we're saying, oh, if this is from, you know, Mexico, we're not gonna purchase that. And she has to report that, so that's correct, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there still are guidelines and minimum requirements, obviously, for, you know, nutritious meals for students. So they're still gonna receive everything that they should. It might just be an alternative to, you know, what they may have had previously. But that's, I can talk to her and see if there's anything specific.
I don't want to end up being that the kids are now getting a fattier, you know, that's not nutritious, anything that's not nutritious for them.
No,
because
still
there's limitations.
Those are real strict guidelines.
Yeah, they're very strict.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Sarah?
They're very strict guidelines they have to follow nutritionally.
Okay.
But like, they can't have bananas anymore, is that right?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I'll talk to Kylie and see if.
Alright, Kylie had mentioned if there was one thing, she was like, now we can't have this anymore, and I was like, no.
They change things.
Yeah, it's always moving.
Yeah. My last thing, and thanks.
Sorry.
There was an issue where, and it's rare that, you know, a constituent calls me about anything, but they called because at Edgewood, there wasn't full communication about the kids not being able to bring water in their water bottles. That, you know, the kids were showing up in class and then somebody saying, well, you gotta pour the water out. Well, there wasn't any communication about that. And we had to, got the snowball going of what, you know, what's going on, what's happening. Just make sure any changes like that, it has to be delivered to all the families. Because now kids are saying, well, I didn't have any water.
I'm not sure, like, who would that policy, like, that didn't come from my
It didn't come
department.
from you guys, that would've came from the building itself, probably.
I think all buildings has Dixon the same.
Yeah,
We used to
it's-
get water and you have to dump it out.
It's the same, it's a safety and security policy. It's a policy around the safety, and it's in all buildings, because my kids gotta do it too. They take a full water
Oh, I
bottle,
don't
they
mind
dump
it, it's
and-
just, it was a shock.
Yeah,
Sure. Not everybody was aware, because at the beginning of school, they were taking the water, you know, and then all of a sudden, it was, you know, oh, no, I have to pour my water out. So just those type of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just communication, that's all.
Yep, absolutely.
And I have one more thing that's not, it's not exactly food service related. However, seeing as how we are in day whatever of our government shutdown and SNAP benefits are not
I think
being,
it's 36 last night, 12.
are not being provided to the people that need them. And that means that a lot of families in our school district are not able to meet their basic needs, and that is horrible. So the Woodland Hills Foundation has a program that they, which is called Backpacks of Hope, where they send a backpack with at least six meals per student home for the weekend. And I just wanted to draw attention to that. If there can be something on the website to link to their website and then social media, they have it just pops up right to donating to the Backpacks of Hope program currently, so that fund can get built up so that our students can have the food that they need.
To that point, there was something shared earlier, I actually was looking at our website for some resources.
Bunch of resources that sent to me that we sent out.
Yeah, and
But I don't
yes,
know if that was on it or not, I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah. But I'm not aware of it, so.
How's it going with bus drivers this school year? people calling off? Do you have subs, any
So,
issues?
we have not, no, knock on wood, we have only had to cancel, I think, one school bus route this year, which is vastly improved from a couple of years ago when it was several a day. You know, we don't have a surplus, but it seems like we are getting a few more people in the door than we had previously. So, I mean, things are they're decent. Yeah.
Are you looking to do something in your spare time?
You know, earlier it was like, you guys should all do these things. When you all go do that, I'm not gonna be there.
I see Mike driving the bus.
Throwing it out there.
It would be, guaranteed, we'd have a blast.
You can educate them on so much stuff, Mike, really, truly.
You can have policy
History.
meetings.
Yeah.
It would be like when my wife would go away for the weekend or something, the kids were little, and the first thing she would hear when they got, you wouldn't believe what Dad let us do. You wouldn't believe what we ate.
You'd be like making the bus backfire and stuff.
Alright, facilities.
Yeah, just wanted to speak on the new truck that we're gonna be purchasing. I went out, we have a plumbing truck that's like riddled with rust and it won't pass inspection anymore, along with the other truck that is gone, and then the van that's shot, they're at their life's end. But I went and I called Jeff Decker, who sold us the truck from Kenny Ross, and he no longer works for Kenny Ross, but he helped me write the specs so that I could send it to Schultz Ford and also Megan Ford, and they all came back relatively around the same prices, right around $70,000. But that is a utility body, an enclosed utility body with toolboxes on it as well, an aluminum one that won't rust out. The bodies on all the new trucks are aluminum, but all the specs from Town and Country, where we're gonna get it, hopefully next week, whenever I ask for the approval. And Schultz, they're all the same. I had a 68,000 or 69,826, 70,854 was the highest.
You said one or three?
One truck.
Oh, one.
Because he was mentioning.
No, there's three proposals.
This is brand new.
Yeah, brand new F-350 2026, I believe. No, 2025. The actual cost of the truck is $49,395. But the utility body service from Keith's Truck Service, who we've used on the last 3 or 4 trucks, is $21,325. Whereas, Zaresco, even though they're closer, was just a couple $100 more, but they're all right in the same ballpark. So this gentleman helped me write the specs on what we wanted so the other people could buy them, or not buy them, but bid them, and they all bid on the same specifications.
What do we do with our used truck then?
Well, that's just it. Garrett sent me an auctioneer's number that I'm gonna reach out to. I got the titles for all 3 of the vehicles that are sitting out there doing nothing for us, and seeing what kind of money we can make off them. Be more than taking them down to draw steel.
Yeah, at least get something back on this.
Yeah. Anything else?
We actually had the titles. I knew exactly where they were.
Nice.
I don't know.
Yeah, we found them real quick.
Right next to Dr. Kate's,
Anything else for facilities?
title.
I have nothing else for facilities. They're still plugging along on the punch list over at Edgewood. They did close the first stairwell down to do the stairwell doors and then finish the landings. That just started on Monday, actually. They came in over the weekend, built the divider so that nobody could go up and down them stairwells, which leaves them able to work without any interruption to the classrooms.
I'll be having one at baseball field, so I'm
You're
gonna
not
get
the
one
only
more
one.
question about.
I asked Brian Force, and
End of November, right?
that's what, yeah, I asked Brian Force, the owner of the contracting company, to give you and I, so we could tell you guys the latest updates. And his project manager had been sending him updates, but not sending them to us. And unfortunately, I don't know what the situation is, but the owner of the company that's doing the work for us, his wife took ill. So I've been out of communication with him for the last couple of weeks until today. But we did get the paving done to start the tennis courts out here. The next thing's just the fence, and then they'll be able to play on it, but we won't be able to put the final finished surface on it until the springtime when the weather's nice again.
Danny, speaking of tennis courts, the way they were originally, they weren't positioned correctly.
They're staying the same.
Pertains to no, you gotta look at that, because the way the sun sets.
Yeah, they're staying the
There
same.
might be enough room to adjust it.
It was gonna go over the hill and we were gonna have to cut earth. And as soon as we start cutting earth, rather than just taking one thing out and putting it back in the same place, would open up another
What
can
about
of worms.
trees?
Would trees help?
Well, anything to keep the sun off of it.
Yeah.
I know, I
It's
spoke with
planted,
Dan,
right?
I
That's a good
spoke with
point.
Dan. It's just the time of day. Everybody, so the opposing team's gonna be on that side of the court just as well as ours. You know, they changed sides, so it's, and I understand. But I wanted to turn it 90 degrees, but it wasn't gonna work.
So it's not a, I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect square, is what you're saying.
It is a perfect square within itself, but it doesn't sit square on the land, because the land's not square, there's radiuses coming down a driveway. And I think they said it's, I forget what directions it is facing, it's not exactly east and west, it's like kinda, it's cockeyed to compass, I guess, you know, it's not square to a compass.
But if it's a perfect square, could they just
You
put
could
the
have,
lines this way instead of going this way?
you can only get two courts going that way without going 30 feet away, and it
So
starts
it's-
falling over the hill
Okay.
towards Braddock Road. So,
So we're gonna do some fun shading.
they still have, won't have cracks this thick in it, or this wide in it.
Oh, I saw it
where's
yesterday, it looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd have to be big, tall trees. They'd have to be-
It's a mighty big, so,
We could talk to Tree
and it's
And
back.
they're gonna, you know, just plant 60-year-old trees and put them there.
Yeah, they'd have to be
Watch
big
it.
trees.
As a tennis player, that's the worst is when you're,
Yeah, they deal with it at Wimbledon, they deal with it at the US Open.
Are we still gonna have fences around?
There's still gonna be a fence around it, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. How many balls will get lost?
Coming from a true Mississippian, we'd be better off putting up PVC pipe and some tarp, and then have shade on the side that we need, cause we got
That's
fence
always an
there.
option in the future, for sure.
I just, like, it's a very low cost solution that would, if we're talking about a very specific time of day, for 1 hour, the people on this side of the court can't see the ball, a $20 Walmart tarp and $40 in PVC pipe solves that problem. It looks ugly, but I'm it is,
well, you get
it
that
is
nice
not
black mesh now.
impossible.
We could do
Yeah,
something
yeah,
a little
I
bit,
get
but
that.
you're right.
Yeah.
We could do something, but we'd make it a little bit more professional.
Look, I got duct tape.
We have Upper St. Clair coming to play tennis against us, we don't wanna.
Dollar store.
Hey, with all your free time, get your CAD going and design it.
Speaking of facilities, it was a really good turnout at Edgewood last week.
Yeah.
Really nice
Yeah.
turnout.
Open house.
Went off well. Once we get stairwells done and all those new areas done, we've already discussed making sure we have a community night to commit to. But that takes place over Christmas break, stairwells.
The stairwell started. The
Oh, okay.
stairwell started this week. No, the Christmas break, not anything in particular. Leading up to the Christmas break is I think when the stairwells will be done,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good.
I have one question. Poor Miss, Muffy, the art teacher, her room was not, is it ready now?
She's been ready, yeah.
Okay.
She just refused to go back to her classroom. She wanted to be teaching, she wanted to keep teaching art from a cart.
Okay,
She really enjoyed that, but
that's
it
good.
was disruptive to the classes.
Okay.
And she's in now. I mean, I was just in there.
Yeah, she
Okay.
There's no reason she can't teach in her classroom.
All right.
Yeah. She just has a lot of stuff.
Oh, I know. I know. We walked in there and
A lot
I
of
was like,
stuff.
this is,
The,
there's nothing
the,
up.
the ink's dried up in it. A lot of stuff that the clay's hard.
So Danny, quick question, everything that's on the punch list, is that included in their original total, or are we getting change
Oh,
orders?
there's no
for
change orders
everything?
on the
Okay.
punch list stuff.
Okay, just
There's
making
change
sure.
orders from, the floor mitigation and incidentals that I'm gonna pass to be ratified.
Okay,
There was no stopping them at the time
Yeah.
because we wouldn't be open now.
Right.
If it was an $8,000 change order, $4,000 change order, I'm gonna ask for all those to be ratified next week.
okay.
Anything else on facilities?
You know, I'm tight with my money.
All right.
All I got to was it.
Athletics,
I do.
only thing I have for athletics is Friday night, playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So for athletics, I have a question. Is it possible for us to celebrate Spirit Week district-wide? And the reason, I know we all know Dixon currently is not doing Dress Down Day, but I think this is something special for them to be back-to-back going to the playoffs. It's one day. Can we do something to celebrate these young men and what they've achieved and what they've accomplished? I'm not wearing this shirt, so don't ask me. But just something that we can do to celebrate. I'm not doing it.
Yes, you are.
Something to celebrate our guys.
We're gonna use zip ties and put you down and put the shirt on you. No.
But no, I know usually we used to do Spirit Week, or we would do something to kind of rally up our district. I know elementary kids will wear, their colors, and high school they always do their thing. But just something that we can really celebrate on Friday, hopefully next Friday as well. I know Dixon has this no dress down thing right now, but I think this is something different.
Is there a reason? Did some?
Yeah, and I would love to discuss that at
why
any
don't they
time,
have-
because I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
incredibly unfair.
yeah, I've gotten some feedback from some parents, and I've had those conversations.
So is that
with
dress
the
down day
principal.
on Fridays eliminated? Is that
Yes.
what, oh.
It was like, it is a benefit, if you are good, and if you have some demerits, then you have to wear your uniform, which is humiliating to an insane degree for a middle school child, and to then further take the benefit away from the entire student body, because some of the students that didn't deserve to be able to wear regular clothes one day didn't do it because they didn't want to have that exposure. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's a super fraught situation. Just let everybody dress down for
Yeah.
crying
But I mean,
out
we could do
loud,
an
like to lower the temperature.
It's playoff day. I mean, we would do it if it was, heaven forbid, the Steelers ever win playoffs. We would do that for our teams.
Yeah. What's such a thing?
Because Julie Porter getting on my nerves.
Oh, I didn't watch the game.
Girl. But just something, I mean, I think this is something different for us to consider. It's one day, and if we are going to do it, making sure that we do not sell hoodies, as hoodies are not allowed in some of our buildings, for us to have crew neck shirts or t-shirts to allow our kids to be able to purchase Woody High,
That's this
paraphernalia.
Friday?
Yes.
They aren't gonna be able to buy anything by Friday, they'll just have to.
Well, if they make it,
Yeah, they'll just have to get something.
if they,
If you were to say, hey, come on, I'm making an executive decision,
I feel like Rite Aid or somebody used to
They
sell
do
it.
have it
They-
at
they
CVS
do.
and
I was
Dark
wondering-
Creek, they have.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes have.
I knew it was one of them.
Yeah,
All
they do.
these does
And
too.
some of
They
the
used to have
convenience
it at
stores
Rite
as
Aid,
well. Some of
Well,
the
I
local
think we should
convenience
just
stores.
always have dress down day on Friday anyhow.
You don't think everybody doesn't have one on Hills Pier at their house?
Oh, no, they absolutely don't. I mean, especially at the elementary school
Oh my
level,
gosh.
there's no
Jill didn't
opportunity
have
to buy
anything tonight.
anything.
See?
There's stuff for your school,
Thank you,
but there's
Jill.
nothing for the
We
kids.
have sideline.
I don't even know where to buy stuff.
We got so much
That
of it.
sideline store's great,
Turquoise
they got
things everywhere.
everything, where I got my sweatshirt from. They have,
It's, yeah, it's not.
well,
open
they have all
there.
kinds of stuff, they have cups, they
I don't
have
think so.
berets,
Get
they
into
have
football
everything.
games and stuff.
I just think we should have dress all day on Fridays, period, for the kids.
I mean, I know that's a conversation that's being had.
That's a bigger conversation.
What's
No.
the deal? But I don't understand what the deal is for, I mean, within reason, it just relaxes and gives the kids a look forward to something. We're trying to encourage them to really want to be in school. And if it's little things like being a safety guard, or I know Friday I don't have to put that uniform on.
So,
Yeah.
so I real quick, I just resent the dress down communication to you, Dr. Malishnik. In terms of dress down day, two things. One, as the guy that always wears suits, I vote for dress up Fridays, because I think it adds some level of business decorum. But the issue that Dixon specifically has been running into is the fact that dress down days, then kids, to your point, you said within reason,
Right.
kids are then showing up
Graphics,
with underwear showing, see-through pants, clothing displaying weapons and profanity, like things that are very clearly against the dress
They still
code
try it.
outside of uniform, and therefore then the Dixon is saying we need to take some time to relook at whether or not this is a good PBIS option, and if it is, what guidelines we need to set so that we don't have kids that earn dress down, then getting in trouble, showing up in school because they're like, well, I'm dressed down, but I'm not actually meeting the dress code. And so
Well, I
when,
mean, I think in that, we can't do a one for all. Like, if it's all 300 kids, that's different. If it's 10 and we know it's a habitual 10, that's when I think it's more of the conversation with the parent, or unfortunately, you know what?
Agreed.
Your child showed up inappropriately, they're in the office, you must pick them up, or they must wear something out of this ratchet little closet that we have.
Sometimes that's really hard to address though, because the parent might be reluctant and that's all we have, and then the teacher might be reluctant to give a dress code, so that can be hard. That
But
can be really hard.
if our guideline is, you know, you are not supposed to wear shorts that are this short, you show up anyway, unfortunately, we have to have a separate conversation on, there might be children out here that dress perfectly every single time, but now we're doing a one option for all instead of addressing this specific issue. In this case specifically, I'm just saying, our district is celebrating something where elementary schools will be dressed down probably, the high school's dressed down, and then we're saying our kids that are young teenagers don't deserve the same privilege and right that an elementary school student is doing. So it's just for this one, it's a playoff. And we would do it if it was Penguins, we would do it if it was Pirates or Steelers. It's our own students we want to celebrate. How do we just better mitigate these situations? And then from that point, when we know that there are kids that are not following the rules, how do we communicate that to those group of kids and not continually throw it for all? You all can't do anything until we figure out what to do. It's not everybody. It might be these group of parents that need to have that kind of conversation. Hey, unfortunately, you know, what they're wearing is not appropriate, it's not for their own body, you know. Is there a reason why? Is it something that we can help you with? We have resources for you, that kind of thing.
First of all, if a male teacher tells a young lady she's not dressed appropriately, she will say, why are you looking at me?
But when they come into school, you mean to tell me that?
When they come into school, who's gonna do that? Is there gonna be a teacher checking dress code on the way in, or is there gonna be security checks? It's a very slippery slope, as opposed to if they make, and they will win this weekend, when they make the, have it, dangle in front of them something, because I can understand why they're doing, if they've been having problems, because dealing with the high school dress code, it was very hard. It's very hard. I would tell a lot of kids, that shirt may have fit you in the fall, but it's spring and you got taller, and they don't realize that, or they don't have the money to buy new clothes, and so they wear something drastically too small. Or it's just really hard. It's just really hard to police. And if they've come over this time, if that's the solution they had to come to, we might need to investigate it a little more.
So maybe we move away from the clothing.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
they make signs.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to eliminate. I want the kids to dress down on Friday, but if it's going to create such, a lot of work and a lot of paying attention to what somebody has on, let's move to something that might be more simpler.
There's so many banners
to put up every day.
And that's a discussion as we look at Ed, and as I
It's not our
found,
thing.
as they look at handbooks and this year, because I respect everybody's opinion on this.
Right.
And my opinion's different probably, and I always, if we have it written down, and I just said this the other day, if it's in a handbook and we're not following it, that's on us. Because we should follow the handbook. But then, I'm also understanding and respecting what everybody said. I think we need to have that conversation as a group, because we could just be different. We could be different, but coming together with a full decision on it and say, okay, this is what we're going out with. Because I definitely understand where everybody's coming with it. And I'm not a fan of punishing all for some. I've never been a fan. I always tell the principals, do not keep sending emails to all teachers if it's only 5. Just address those 5, and I feel the same way with students. Don't punish all for 5.
And I just don't feel uniforms is, the way it's being portrayed now, it's a form of punishment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's what we want to continue to portray, that these uniforms we were using to control behavior, control other things, from now, it's a punishment for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And it might be 6th graders that are doing it, 8th graders, we don't know, but it's the whole entire school. But again, it's just, when we have these special things and celebratory things, I know Bully Prevention Day is coming up. there's things that are coming up, Child Grief Day, like there's things that are happening countywide and our children are not participating because of an incident that happened a month ago. So it's just, and in the handbook, it does say dress down, but just saying.
Yeah.
Well, we'll know because item 221 is gonna come up on our policy review, dress and grooming. Will be one of our next things to review.
All right, there we go. Points. Community relations.
I think that was Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
School finance. Paul, did you have some?
No, go on.
School finance?
Okay, so the two things that I have, I got an email from PSBA asking that I present this resolution to you all to pass. It's a resolution from this board asking the General Assembly to get off their rear ends and pass the budget. So it's they wrote it, PSBA wrote it, I didn't write it, but they're asking for every board to pass this resolution and send it saying enough is enough. So I'll bring that to you next week or, like throughout.
And for that, can I ask, we passed our own resolution. I think PSBA, it's a great thing, it's statewide, but I think our financial issues and our impact by this budget is gonna vary than somebody in Philadelphia. So I think like special education is different for us, transportation is different for us, our charter school bill is different than other ones. So I think this is great, but I think we also need to do something specifically how our kids are going to be impacted by this budget not being passed, how our kids are going to suffer from this charter school reform. So I think it'll be best coming from Dr. Malishnik and you, Joe, or Mr. Raccoon is saying Woodland Hills, Jay Costa would like you to know this is exactly where we are financially because you're not passing this budget.
You are gonna bring this forth for us to do this one though, because
Yeah, I mean,
it's
yeah,
real
it's
important.
fine.
That could be a separate letter, like
Yeah.
we've done that with athletics, where we had a letter and a
Yeah.
resolution.
Yeah.
So just to add to that, I don't know if you'll remember last year, we did a presentation, or 412 Justice did one where we talked about the adequacy. And I presented that to you. And we met today about the presentation that may take place on December 4th, maybe. And I would invite all to join the conversation. But one of the things I asked Sandra Miller to do is to break down the fact that it varies per school. You can say adequacy, you can say BEF, but a lot of school districts don't understand. It's not a flat rate. It is individualized. And so to your point, Ms. Griffin, about how our special education differs from the next school district and that school, and that's why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
Jill, to say, yes, we won that lawsuit, but we still have money that's just out here that we're not getting, but it's different for every school district, and a lot of people don't get that. So that is going to be coming up December 4th. I will invite all to join in the conversation.
I have a question for Jill. Have we gotten further enough ahead that our special ed price is gonna go down yet? It's still that high. Because once we had the audit and things were rearranged, it was hopefully going to make our special ed allotment not quite so high.
Yeah, the problem is our special ed population is not going down, it's only escalating, and the cost of everything is going up. So it's not that we're not trying, it's that we keep getting more kids that have incredible needs, and the cost of those needs are
Astronomical.
wow, it is, and we have no choice. Like if it's in the IEP and these children come and they have these problems, we have to pay for it. So I don't know that the only thing that will really fix that is if they change the way that we pay the charter schools for special ed. That is the problem.
Right.
Because if you look at the special ed budget, the amount that we spend, a massive amount of it is the charter tuition for special ed kids. It's really not even for the kids that attend here. It's awful, like, and they're scooping into our regular funding that we could be spending on our children to pay for kids that don't need the amount of money that we have to send them for the services. It is grossly overstated, it's ridiculous, but we can't do anything about it because if I don't pay those bills, they scoop it right out of our subsidy. There's nothing we can do about it. And then those schools are gonna say, look, here's everybody's IEP, and we are entitled to that money, and they're gonna say, yes, you're right, because that's the formula for the charter school tuition for a special ed student. It's awful. What they really need to do is bill us, we could send them the regular ed tuition, and then if you're a special ed kid that you need speech, send me the bill for speech and I'll pay it, no problem. But I'm sending $57,000 I'm sending to you for a kid that has a lisp possibly, I'm serious. And I have a special needs child and still know that it's ridiculous, But, so in answer to your question, nope, not getting better. But that's the only thing that's gonna make it better.
Well, I think it would be good to have a letter, because like you just said, we're probably spending more than most in our needs this year, or different than last year, so I think the resolution, we should definitely pass that, but we should be kind of tooting our own horns and say, hey, our representatives, you represent us, here is our issue, here's why we need you to come advocate for us. Here's
And I've
why
had
we
those
need that.
conversations.
They know.
Yeah,
I mean,
at the state level, I mean, they know.
Because they have to review that information as they make their decision on how they're gonna vote and seeing where the fundings are coming from. So they're reviewing it right along with us, so they're aware.
On all this stuff.
Yeah.
I can say from the AIU perspective, there are some AIUs that are, IUs that are looking at possibly closing because of the budget.
Yeah.
Because they're so far and those are not ones here, those are,
Eastern,
yes.
Eastern and Central.
It's a huge.
To reinforce what Joe was saying on the special ed, if we paid charter for cost of service, not flat salary, that would be so much easier on everybody.
Is there ever gonna come a time where that won't exist? I mean, that's been written into a bill or a legislation.
Forever.
And it will exist always, no one
Well,
can
it's
come
in the-
along and say, hey, we're gonna change it, just like we're talking about contracts.
Well,
You know,
It has to be
Someone's getting
changed.
rich off of it, so.
It has to be
No, it's
changed
not
at the
gonna change.
legislature, and that's just it, they're not, they don't care. Their kids they don't care, they
no,
just
because
don't
there's
care.
still those tax credits that they receive. And I know, Sarah, that's what you're learning at PEC, right? Is that the tax credits that come from and keeping those monies flowing into charter schools. And even with the cyber school.
The tuition that we
source doesn't
spend for a
change.
regular student to go to a charter school is extremely close to what we get for those kids. Like, we do upload them to PIMS, we do get the subsidy for those kids, for a regular ed student. So then you pass the money through and it goes to the school that educates the child. That I understand, I get that. It's the special ed part that is so ridiculous that, yeah.
And the most blatant is, we send $53,000 to Propel, they could then send a kid to an outside placement that costs
Yes.
them $35,000
Yes,
a
and then
year.
they keep the money.
And they keep 18 grand.
They keep
They don't
the money.
ever have to see that child.
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
I'd like to ask Leah, what would you attribute the increase of our special ed population?
I don't.
That's a great question. I think we're very transient. I've seen this year especially a lot of students from PPS, Gateway. But there have been students that are coming out of like some of the charter schools that are coming back to District 2 that are identified as special ed. So we did have a large group of the preschool early intervention students that came into kindergarten this year, that even before some of them actually came into our schools, I had to place out just because their needs were so great that, you know, they were a perfect fit for Sunrise, but we just weren't able to support them here. So I think off the bat, there were 5 maybe that didn't even come into our building. So.
And I can attest to it because she asked me for buses for them.
Dad's here.
She probably walks into your office and you go,
They do, they do.
Is it over 100 now? stops every day Garrett has to manage.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
So, along those lines, so our expenditures currently are up over $4 million as of this October as they were last October. Most of that is attributed to the charter school tuition going up. But unfortunately, our revenue is also $12 million less right now in October than it was last October because we have no state funding. So what that's gonna do is that 12 million that we would normally have received by now in state funding is normally invested, so then that interest income line in the budget is not earning the interest that we budgeted because we don't have the funds to invest because they didn't give them to us. So we're spending more and making less on our investments, and certain dollars you have, like, we're getting no federal dollars either, but even if we were, we're not allowed to invest those.
That's right.
So the money that we are allowed to invest, we're not getting. It's extremely frustrating. We are holding a lot of the bills. We have them processed so that they're sitting in a holding tank, waiting to send. But right now, we're paying what we have to. We're keeping the lights on, we're feeding people, we are busing people, we're paying for the curriculum, and we're paying our staff. That's what we're doing. Anything that can be held, we're holding.
And paying the staff just in title and pre-K counts, which
Yes.
are federal and state programs, is $4 million a year.
Yes, and we're paying them from our general fund,
That's
because
right.
we don't have that money.
Because we don't have any other money.
So realistically, Jill, if, heaven forbid, this stall out happens longer than the next 30 days, how much do we have reserved for us to keep this operation that we have? Like, is it?
I think we can make it to February.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll make it, because we have such a strong fund balance, we'll make it longer than some of the other schools.
Right.
They're
But at
gonna
least
run
till
out soon.
February.
Yeah.
There's several Head Start programs that are already closed, and
Yep.
several
Yeah.
pre-K counts that'll close in November.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
There are some districts that are looking at movement to probably online remote because
Absolutely.
to pay lights and all that is an extra bill, so.
And it's crazy, well, like the lunch program, the toilet paper, cleaning products,
Exactly.
honestly, like all of that, the buses wouldn't run, so, but like some of our bus contracts, it says, even if you don't run, you have to pay us a certain number of days. And they do that for things such as
That's right.
this, so it's just awful. It's awful. When was the last, and we're past the last time,
Yeah, we're
aren't we?
past the last one. 09 was mid-October.
Okay.
And that's the longest one that
November.
I know of
We're
ever.
in November.
I think they both passed the federal and state.
Yeah, federal and
In
federal
October.
passed it 2 days ago.
So that's my good news.
Jill.
That's the last thing.
I do have the AFR ready to go, other than like 3 numbers that I have to calculate. So right now, we're looking at a $2.9 million loss in 24-25, which is better than I had anticipated. That can be attributed to the massive amount of money that we lost, over $1 million in tax revenue, because they lowered the CLR from 86%. We're down to 50 now. Last year was 52, now we're down to 50. And the $2 million that we didn't get from the governor. If we don't get that money this year and they cut our funding even more, I don't even know what to say at that point. And it's very difficult going into the holiday season and Christmas thinking we're gonna be half the year in and have no idea how much money we're getting. The good news there is the tax revenue is rolling in very steadily right now for us. Our people pay their taxes. It is great. So that is the money we're using to pay the bills. I'm sorry, Sarah, what did you ask me?
What was the AFR number
The
that
CLR.
The loss,
I'm sorry.
the loss,
The loss.
in the AFR?
Yeah.
$2.9 million and some change.
Awesome. Thank you. I
You're
just-
That's why I kinda know what US Steel is really doing, is really important right now.
Yep.
So, we'll just keep chugging along. I do find it interesting that I got an email saying that they opened next year's budget, so the business managers want to start to work on it. I was like, Oh, am I supposed to work on next year? You haven't even told me what I'm supposed to be doing this year. Okay, you know. But I did tell everybody, like, start looking at things you can cut, start looking at, you should start thinking about an early retirement incentive, for some of the staff
Almost fall under COVID plan.
to see if,
Yeah, a lot of companies.
you know, if we can get some folks to bite on that. We did it a couple years ago, it was effective, you know.
Just to remind you, we do have a support staff contract we'll have to start working on shortly. We were gonna try to work on it quickly, but we're gonna hold off a little
Yeah.
bit, just to find out where we're at financially.
Yeah, we have to. Not having a budget, either federal or state, having no money rolling in from either one of those governments, you can't do a contract right now. So, yeah.
There is some thought that yesterday's election results will change.
I hope so, yes,
Yes.
that now that that's over, now hopefully they'll all go back to work and figure it out.
Your lips to God's ears, Ms. Regan.
Yes.
Anything else for finance?
No, well, that's all I had.
Any
Any
questions
old
for
business?
finance?
Any other questions for finance?
If so, email me, I'm always there.
Any old business? Any new business?
I don't know which one this falls under, but I have heard whispers that there's an ad hoc committee formed already for discussing the possibilities of what the future may hold, reorganization wise. How is that going?
Good
And
question.
how often does it meet? And
Yeah, no, we're gonna have our first meeting in 2 weeks, and it's gonna be a
Okay.
representative of district stakeholders, which, includes board members, includes representative teachers, some parents, and so on, have a discussion. I think we need to have the discussion looking at our deficit. We have to look at this school choice. Let's not lie, and let's not hide behind the school choice is costing transportation. When you're stopping at the same bus stop 3-4 times each morning and afternoon, it's unsustainable. It really is unsustainable. When I first got here and I started looking at that, immediately, we gotta address it, let's change something. And then we started thinking about it as an admin team together, possibly looking at learning centers, where you might have a K-2 building in. And when I look at school data, behaviors, attendance, achievement, elementary, we're doing pretty well. It's a cliff dive in the school. It is a cliff dive, it's not a slow drop. So we got to do something differently. So I don't want to make a top-down decision. I think it needs to be a collective decision. That's what I believe in, to where we come together and say, okay, I believe the third option, staying where we're at, is not the right option financially for the district. Looking at both options, the pros, the cons of each, and we come out as a united front after 2 or 3 meetings and say, hey, this is what we need to do. I understand why the school choice was done years ago. Times have changed, but and for many reasons, financially, instructionally, and so on. So if you look at learning centers, you may have a K-2 building, a 3 and a 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. That's an option. Eliminating school choice. I think we have to look at both and say, okay, one or the other. But I want to hear from everybody. Coming into this district in April, I don't think that should be a top-down decision, because I know there's a lot of, thought that was put into it probably back in 2018 or 19 when that decision was made. But financially and transportation, it's unsustainable. And we have to do something differently. So yes.
Isn't the same transportation problem going to exist if there are learning centers?
So great question. Will it decrease transportation costs? I think it'll decrease a little bit, yes. Will it have the impact? So there's the pros and cons that we would have in those discussions. It's a great question. The pros and cons you're gonna have in the discussion is, will it impact the cost more? Like, we would have a bigger cost savings if we eliminate school choice. Now, we may not be able to see that for a while though. That's the problem, that's over time. Learning centers, you're not gonna have the savings there, but you may have savings on personnel, special ed, how we're gonna do, because you're gonna have focused areas, focus groups. student grade levels and so on. We talked about all areas, facilities, and we met as a team, and we want to be able to at least present the pros and cons of each, and we make a decision, because a parent may come out and say, well, what about this? You know, they may come up with a board member can say, well, what about this? And those are questions that we need to hash out before we say, this is what's gonna happen.
In answer to your question, so Garrett and I have talked about this, depending on what group of students are in what building, you would stagger the start time 15, 20 minutes maybe. So if you have a 7 and 8 building, like right now we stagger the start times for high school, middle school, all the elementaries. So you would still do high school, you'd still do middle school. Like if middle school became 7th and 8th, then 5th and 6th grade, you would pick what building that made sense. And then you'd have a bus in this area and a bus in this area that would pick those kids up. And then they'd scoop up the kids in this area and drop over here while this bus is picking up these kids and dropping over here. So they're crossing, not going all over the district, picking up all the kindergarten and first graders. So like this bus driver might do one run to go to Edgewood and then pick up these kids for pre-K and kindergarten and drop them off over in Turtle Creek while these people are doing the opposite of that. So it would save time and money, because then you wouldn't need 3 buses for every stop for every one of those schools.
The only thing that we'd be asking from the ad hoc committee members is an open mind. Open mind, and especially I understand teachers kind of, they're territorial. They've had their room, they've had their building, and I respect that and understand that. But as we go through that process, it needs to everyone has to have an open mind about the whole organization. The whole organization, not my building, my classroom, or my child, it has to be an open mind and say, okay, we got all this information, and make the best educated decision with the information that's provided, discussed throughout that process.
Can I ask that there is demographic information included in the decision making, but just for whatever if school choice is eliminated in the regions that would be created, what those demographics are and compare them, just to make sure that we are not.
That's it. Yeah, that'll be important.
So part of also like what Dr. White and Dr. Wilson were saying, doing it that way, then all kids start when they're 5 years old in kindergarten, going to the same building, doing the same thing. These teachers then can have collective time for common planning time. Pam, like Dr. White had a whole curriculum on what that looks like and how those students come together at such a young age, and then as they progress through the times, then if they get to Dixon, then they don't hate each other already in 6th grade because they already knew each other when they were 5.
Sure, I absolutely understand that.
It's so like,
I think that geographically it's gonna be a rough one, especially if parents have kids, if you have a kid that's in kindergarten and 5th and 9th.
And we're doing that now.
Yeah, we are.
We're doing that now. We're going from one end of the district to the other end of the district. How can we decrease those costs, whether if you do learning centers, you really decrease the cost if you eliminate school choice.
And
there's no decisions been made, but by not having the conversation is not the way to go right now.
I think it also helps too, like to reach out to our neighboring school districts, like we talked about, like call Baldwin, call McKeesport, call South Park, call Jefferson Hills, call West Mifflin. Like they have done it. In the last 5 years, they've all done it.
Okay.
So call them and say, did you save, did you not? What worked, what didn't? Like what are we in for? What are the great things that are gonna happen to us, and what's gonna smash us in the face? Like, we all, like I have a business manager in all of them, there's a superintendent in all of them. There's a curriculum, there's special ed, there's transportation. Like, reach out to our colleagues and say, what are we looking at here?
Sarah, those are good questions that would come up.
Yeah, they're great.
Even if we don't mix centers, just eliminating the choice of the busing choice, it could save us a lot of money. And the fact that we've had reports that all 3 of our elementary schools are doing wonderful jobs, which is good news to hear, because there was some sentiment before, because Turtle Creek was the academy, and it was a different school, and when they realigned, people thought, well, I want my kid to get that thing, but we have done, the academy had uniforms, and the great teachers, we have great teachers across the board. We have great, and for people to know that you're going to get great teachers no matter where you send your child. And, I knew a kid that had to walk several blocks to get a bus by your kid that was going to Wilkins. That's, you know, saving them, that would save us a lot of money in extra bus trips alone. And to know that your kid's gonna get a great education no matter what school they're in.
Let's not forget that the special education was realigned so that the 3 elementary schools each had their specialty areas. So a kid that had autism that was at Edgewood had to be moved. And also Wilkins is the base of where all ESL learning is for students. So there are a lot of students that don't have a choice. We're saying you don't take this choice to go to this school that's not in your neighborhood, but we have created that situation for them. And especially in the case of special education students, we need to remember that the relationships that they have are so vitally important to their education and their emotional and mental health that we can't just forget that and say, you gotta go to the next place.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Until they put the elevator in at Turtle Creek, there were no special ed students at Turtle Creek because there was no elevator, everyone was at West. That's how long ago that was, at West.
No,
I'm sorry, I keep talking. I'm ready to go.
No, I'm actually glad you brought the subject
So
up.
I think, at one point, we were really talking about rebranding and everything, and so that might need to be inclusive as we start making those changes. Because if we're going to elevate the school to the potential of being the best, that's where branding has to also play a part. I don't, like what she just said, I never knew all of that. I'm coming back into this district at a time where a lot of changes took place, and that's information I was unaware of.
That's why that decision shouldn't come from me, because you and I wasn't even here.
I wasn't here. So now that I'm understanding that, and it makes sense, but if it's something that we have to do, then we have to be ambassadors for rebranding Woodland Hills and making it feasible for our families to feel comfortable for those changes, whatever they end up. You know, I could sit here and say, well, my kid, he's fine where he's at. But I'm not gonna do that, because it's about all the kids. And as long as we keep that in the back of our mind, it could work. I'm guessing, I'm gonna be positive about that, but we do need to start going back to rebranding and saying what Woodland Hills can do by making those changes.
Yeah.
But keeping all of that in mind as we make those changes.
And just to close out our night, you let me out all these research things. I was gonna bring it up, but I was gonna wait. I think that although we have a comprehensive plan, I think we do need a strategic plan to talk about our rebranding, our enrollment, our special education. What is our financial plan? How do we bring in more money? So we have come together, and there's gonna be a lot of work. And I've seen it because Mount Lebanon has an awesome strategic plan. Like, their plan is so detailed. I said I wanna mimic it for myself.
We just did our thing.
The comprehensive plan.
She's talking about doing a whole different plan.
I was talking about strategic. I'm thinking strategically, when we talk about we're rebranding, we're talking about moving kids, we're talking about showing that, like, we need, and that's not in the comprehensive plan, we're not talking about busing in our centers. When we move to that, I think it's gonna be a marketing change for all of us. New names, new faces, new objectives. Of course, what are we doing revenue-wise? Like, I think that's a different, when we hit that point, I do think we need to kind of be more mindful as to what does that really mean for the next 3 to 5 years? How do we do that transition to centers without the impact? How do we bring back families with this new center approach, if that's the way we're going? Like, when we go that route, what is now, tomorrow, and later will look like for us? And then if we know the revenue is gonna kind of be this. Yep. Revenue, you know, if we know this, where is that crossing point where we're gonna start to see, yes, doing this, we're now gonna see the money coming in. We're now not spending anymore. Like, when do we hit that point? Is it year 1.5? Is it year 2? Is it year 5? That kind of thing. I'm
That school that you mentioned, by the way, is in deep doo-doo financially, so we're doing better than they.
I think.
Can I say one last
We should
thing?
get candy.
Congratulations, Woodland Hills is going to have an all-female school board.
Yeah, sorry, oh my.
I'm not gonna be here either.
You gotta hear ladies.
You'll be here every week.
Oh, yeah. Let's not come.
You know you'll be here.
Other than that, we close because y'all know it's Chicago PD night.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I'm gonna tell my family I'm going to the
That's
school board
Chicago.
meeting.
Chicago PD, Chicago Fire.
All right, bye-bye.
See, you could highlight them, I just.